Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're
right back at you again. Officer Shapat Dayakin. Dropping something heavy for these cowards out here. Yeah. Coming straight from 125th, 1 West, Harlem, New York. Home of the truth, nigga. Man of war with hair wool, no idols, loving judgments. God of the Bible, the men above me shout, Whom Yasha? And all the warriors be like, Whom Yasha? Kingdoms ours, all the heathens forbidden. The chosen bow down to no one, it was written. The men above me shout, Whom Yasha? And all the warriors be like, Whom Yasha? All day as we discuss how they don't like us. Gathered on streets and corners, all is feeling righteous. Real particular, nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and war like apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us, watch where you stepping. Cause a scene, you gon' see how brotherhood is a weapon. Tough skin protect our wrists, teach girls and kids the boundless. Call them prophetess, a priest damn near nothing without it. More than rubies, cute and understanding when describing. Virtue loving, no lip from the daughters of Zion. Gold teeth, earrings, chains, and the rings. Precious metals, fabrics, emphatic stones, and everything. Trying to catch the slang, rewind what we rap and slang. Lost in parables, the scripture breakdowns terrible. Yasha Allah, Prince of the power, we are the Jews. God on earth, you can see it by watching all our moves. Man of war with hair wool, no idols, loving judgments. God of the Bible, the men above me shout, Whom Yasha? And all the warriors be like, Whom Yasha? Kingdoms ours, all the heathens forbidden. The chosen bow down to no one, it was written. The men above me shout, Whom Yasha? And all the warriors be like, Whom Yasha? Man of war with hair wool, no idols, loving judgments. God of the Bible, the men above me shout, Whom Yasha? And all the warriors be like, Whom Yasha? Kingdoms ours, all the heathens forbidden. The chosen bow down to no one, it was written. The men above me shout, Whom Yasha? And all the warriors be like, Whom Yasha?
One Westworld.
Right. Everything is lawful. Westworld. The pressure on. I remember bringing nothing home. Make it little just to make it known. Steady, ready, better watch your tone. When I was 5'7", I was breaking bone. I had to 5'7", now I want the chrome. 9'11", I was in my zone. Lose the argument or lose your dome. Keep cool, ain't no running up. Damn, now I'm coming up. They coming against me, you dumb or what? You drawing, you done enough. They told me don't rush it, just wait my time. Paying attention, I see the signs. Coming right to me like Amazon. No time for distractions, I'm on the grind. Little shorty, your ticket, she know she fine. Got a couple of so never mind. They throwing the shade cause they know I shine. Reason I'm going in overtime. You stuck in your ways, you keep fantasizing. I just go get it, don't think about it. Don't make it an issue, it ain't a problem. Not too much talking, just organizing. One Westworld, no way around it. Heavy, so you know I'm grounded. Too sturdy, I'm well rounded. Tunnel vision, I don't see a challenge. Get a minute, I'm killing it. Case closed, I don't need a gavel. Know you hate it, don't even matter. New page, still the same time.
Mike, but just never forget that I do not. Always have that fresh in your mind. That I feel absolutely nothing for your pain and your problem. Because I know that all of your pain and problems are a test to make you stronger.
I live in a coincide. If you're not ready to stay inside, you drowning away, or you gonna ride. You stick to the end, you get glorified.
Seeing if you're gonna step up in what's world, you're gonna run.
You stick to the end, you get glorified. Let's make it official, I'm one of them. One of the greatest is no exempt. It took me a minute to figure it out. I was struggling, and they made a man. I shuffled the deck and I played my hand. Just give me a reason to put them on you. Didn't believe that I had me a vision. Should I believe that you niggas loyal? We giving up game, they fumbling plays. I'm tired of talking, I'm racked out. Before that we started, they tapped out. I jumped in my duffel and blacked out. What you witnessing is elevation. Glory road to my destination. The haters, it's a celebration. And I put that on my reputation. When the fall, this a demonstration. Get sick and I know they hate it. One Westworld every season. Hot boy, this dedication. I'm giving game, I don't need favors. Go against us, you won't see the danger. You ain't family, you a damn stranger. I'll beat your ass, I don't need a baby. I don't got time for excuses. I'm plotting on making the killer. I'm getting the feeling, they know that I'm coming, I'm running. Let's get to the business. I'm still playing my post. Taking the rim like diesel. Don't run with too many people. Facts, I don't feel none of us equal. None of us equal.
And there are some brothers and sisters that know that so much, they would never leave. They would never abandon you. Since you have to stay alive here, they'll stay alive with you.
I live in a world where we coincide. If you're not ready to stay inside, you drowning away, or you gonna ride. You stick to the end, you get glorified. What's world? You stick to the end, you get glorified.
They're one West. 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 They're one West.
Dear hater, you for real hater? Must not be on like you say, must not be getting no real paper. Real paper, real paper.
One West, nigga.
Dear hater, you for real hater? Must not be on like you say, must not be getting no real paper. Nigga can't have more than you, you know them niggas will still hate you. Those are characteristics in a pussy nigga nature. Talk that shit behind my back, but be on mute when it's a facial. Smiling in my face, but you can't hide all of that hatred. I'm too silent, you a snake. I see that shit a mile away. Man of war, and I'm not sorry, blame that shit.
Shalom, Lord of Christ. Bear with me 1 second. Shalom, Lord of Christ. There you go, right there. Go to the main screen. Select it. Boom, there you go. Hit the full screen going. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, Lord of Christ. We're the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I'm the Commander General Yahanna. We do not affiliate with any other Israelite group or Christian organization. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of the Bible that the so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans are the so-called Jews, are the official and Israelites of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The official Jews, the Israelites of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? When I say Black, I mean West Indian, Black Americans, and Haitians. You know what I'm saying? Just because we don't say the West Indian and Haitian don't mean they ain't in it too. Just like the Native Americans and Latinos, all of us are treated the same as they know who we are. And also, you must know that we teach that the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? I am priest and officer, Shapat Dayak. I'm holding it down for priest and officer Kazaka Ahmad till he gets here. You know what I'm saying? He got the title of the class is the Bible is Black History. You know what I'm saying? And you find that I see it all the time when I'm out and about, just coming in this truth. You know what I'm saying? The world manifests right in front of you when you start learning these scriptures, you know what I'm saying, in the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I'm saying? In church, you might think and you realizing something, but it doesn't come together unless you know the basics. Like I just said, blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, we are the Jews that you're reading about. You need to know that to see what the Bible's really talking about. You start learning who the people are. You know, the Moab is the Chinese. You start learning that all the Africans are Ham, you know what I'm saying? Canaanites, Lamanites, who else? The Foothites, all of them, you know what I'm saying? And in the Bible, you might see them as the Philistines or something like that. Yeah, I know those is filthy Africans. You know, then what else you got? You know, the Germans are the Teemanites. You wouldn't know that unless you come into the school. I never realized that myself. Everybody's studying the Bible thinking they just know it. They don't know what I just said. They don't know who those people are in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? You come to find out when you know who those people are, you were able to read with the travels of the real Jews, and you can actually put it together with history that's being told to you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it was, you know what I'm saying, plagiarized, all that, this, that, and the third. But for the most part, the average history that you were taught, you could put it together with the Bible from what you was taught. When you come into this school, you also learn real history, you know what I'm saying, the origin of everything. And you see what part it took place, what part we took place in it, you know what I'm saying, for the parts where we was at, and how it all affected us. You know what I'm saying? This Bible is completely our history book. And one thing's for sure, you know what I'm saying? One thing is for sure, the transatlantic slave trade is in there. We all know that one, Deuteronomy 28:68. It's in there. You know what I mean? But you know what? You got fried chicken is in the Bible. You know what I mean? Fried chicken is in the Bible. We could pull that. You know what I'm saying? What else we got? I got one. I'm gonna go to walk with me. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Book of Ezekiel, book of Ezekiel, chapter 16. Let's go there, right? It's one of my favorite, you know what I mean? Because this will tell you, you know what I'm saying, why we even dress the way we dress, you know, how why we fly as we are. You know what I mean? Let me make sure I can be heard. I might be talking the whole time. Can't nobody hear me. You know what I'm saying? Shalom to everybody that's in the chat. We got Yapa checking in. Shalom sis, Zolan Hall. What's going on, young man? Shalom Lord of Christ. Okay. Nazamaya. Nazamana. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm saying it right. I think I mess your name up every time. But shalom sis. Just started paint. Shalom sis. Here we go. You got the not the Ghana king. I'm gonna just say the community king. You know, right dollar here join that community ASAP. We talking about that LGBTQ member is in here. He's a future and probably is already a member. You know what I'm saying? But enough about him. What we got? Chavez Unlimited. Shalom, Lord of Christ. We got who is that? Kelly Corinne show. The Kelly Corinne show. We got a show on here. All right. Thanks for joining our show, Kelly. Shalom sis. Kapah. We got the sister Kapah coming in here. That's Trooper Shalop's rib. I was there with the witness in Cali when she got her name. It was glorious. I think she started crying. Stoning witches with crystals. Good night. That's what y'all doing. And last I checked, brother, we live under grace. I don't think you're supposed to be running around stoning nobody. But yeah, and also we don't say shalom. That's actually the verb. The actual piece is shalom, brother. That's how you say it in Hebrew. But shalom, brother. Trooper Nasawan, shalom, brother. Trooper Lewiathan, shalom, brother. Landlord, and fisherman. All right, landlord and fisherman. You know what I'm saying? The whole world is ours. You know what I'm saying? You out there fishing. Shalom, Lord of Christ. Lord of Lab. Kaya Buses, the Kaya Bob in here. Shalom, sis. Fiery Furnace is in here. Shalom, sis. Oh, Shalom, brother. You know what I'm saying? Just got to read. I never knew the which one. So I know now. You know what I'm saying? But I seem like that's everybody, right? But I'm gonna get to what I was talking about. You know, if you go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 8, this is a very good part of our history right here. You know what I'm saying? It says, now when I pass by thee, this is the Lord passed by us and looked upon thee. Behold, thy time was the time of love. We already know what love is. But matter of fact, let me not assume that you know what love is. According to the book of 2 John, verse 6, it says, and this is love. I'm trying to read it verbatim. Forgive me if I get a couple little words wrong. And this is love. Starts off just like that. That we walk after his commandments. That's what love is. It's also in the book of 1 John 5:3, if you didn't believe that. The Bible says what the definition of love is twice. You know what I mean? But right here it said, and thy time was the time of love. And I spread my skirt over thee. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's put his skirt over. He's covering you. If you're covered by the Lord, you're under his cover, you're being protected. You know what I'm saying? But why are you protected? You know what I'm saying? Because if you follow the Lord's statutes and commandments, that's what he made them for, to protect you, to keep you away from what's bad, to put you on to what's good, what you should do. So when the time was love, the Lord's covering you, because now you're going to do what the Lord said. Now you're covered by what the Lord said. You know what I'm saying? I spread my skirt over thee and covered thy nakedness, because we was naked before the Lord came and gave us these law, statutes, and commandments. Before you even attempted to follow law, statutes, and commandments, you was susceptible to the Lord to sending Satan out to do what he wanted you. You was naked out here, trying to act like heathen, celebrating holidays, this, that, and the third. But to keep going, and cover thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee, and entered into a covenant with thee. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord chose us and gave us the promises. You see what I'm saying? That contract, he made a contract with us. Saith the Lord God, and thou becamest mine. Oh man, that sounds so good. I became the Lord's. You see what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna make it sound funny or nothing like that, but damn, to know a lot of us, you know, come out here without no father. You know what I'm saying? And me being one of them, you know, it was kind of crazy to think that, damn, father ain't want me. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of a crazy feeling when it first hit you as a youngin' coming up, and you coming up throughout the years, like seeing people with their father, like, damn, I got one somewhere, but damn, why don't come around? But to know that the Lord chose me, he never gave up on me. Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, the Lord never gave up on me. You are his. You see what I'm saying? That's the greatest feeling to find out in the world. You know what I'm saying? Then and once again, this is Black history right here. Verse 9. Then washed I thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee. The Lord washed away the sins, the blood, the sins. He washed us up. He cleaned us up. You know what I'm saying? Wow. When we started following them law, statutes, when he gave them to us and we started following, man, we learned what unclean things not to do, to eat this, that, and the third. We stopped doing everything. Now our sins is gone because we no longer transgressing the law. You see what I'm saying? Which is the definition of sin. You know what I'm saying? In the book of 1 John 3:4, when it says, he who transgresseth the law commits a sin, because sin is the transgression of the law. That's like verbatim what it says right there. You know what I'm saying? So we were no longer in sin. He washed the blood from us. You know what I'm saying? So and I anointed thee with oil. Once again, he made that covenant with us. He washed us up, you know, and it's two ways you anoint somebody. You can be anointed like with the oil, you know, like it's literally getting dressed. You know what I'm saying? Getting dressed, you don't cleaned up, bing, 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 bing. You put the oil on, you get your hair together, you know what I'm saying? Anoint yourself with a little oil, you know what I'm saying? And another way is to be raised up, you know, anointed with oil. You know what I mean? Verse 10. I clothed thee also with bordered work. You know what I'm saying? Bordered work, like let's see. Okay, let's see, like this headpiece right here. We could say it was a regular headband, and then, you know, when I started designing, I got the it's like a chain, coming down the middle. If you could see that, then I'm trying to put a little closer. You know what I'm saying? You see the fleur de lis with the horses on both sides. You know what I mean? With a shield with another fleur de lis in it. You know, that's broidered on it. I got the yellow chain broidered going up and down on the drink. You know what I'm saying? Got the Magun Dawadah. You ain't know in Hebrew, this is a Magun Dawadah. Magun is shield. Dawadah was King David's name. This is the gun Dawadah, shield of David, not star of David. You know what I'm saying? What else we might got on there? And I got the line of Judah on there. You know, that's the symbol of Judah. Every tribe has a symbol. I'm gonna put it back on, right? Every tribe has a symbol, and can't see the joint. Anyway, even if it's crooked, but this will be like broidered work. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a outfit and they got all them little designs, intricate little designs all in them. That's broidered work. And shod thee with badger skins, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. The Lord gave us the best fabrics. See, we had the best fabrics. He showed us the best fabrics to be fly. You see what I'm saying? Like you already know how we do it. Before like the 80s, I would say is when people, the labels, all the labels, you know, designers started putting their logos just everywhere. Before that, like you look back in the 70s, see the movies back in the 70s, all that, logos weren't all on the shirts. You know, a person just looked good because of what kind of fabric they had on. Like, dang, he walking around with a satin or a silk shirt. You know, he ain't got a regular cotton shirt on. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, dang, is that an all leather outfit? Like, dang, woo, is that a mink? Good night. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell the difference because of the fabric. Well, the Lord had us putting on the best fabrics. Believe me, it's in the Bible. Make me want to look up badger skin. You know what I'm saying? So I could just give me a badger skin coat or something like that. They won't even know what got hit with. You know what I'm saying? Let me see something. Let me see something. I'm almost seeing something where I'm about to start cutting. Do I have to start cutting? Past the pork chop. Should we even listen to anything? Your name is Pastor Pork Chop. You cannot eat pork chop, bro. Name yourself after one. That's even crazy. Orthodox Christianity is the true religious. The true religious. Okay. And it comes from Ethiopia. Right. I'm pretty sure I can just go in the chat and ask a couple people to pull me some scriptures about what the Lord says about Ethiopians. You know what I'm saying? We can definitely just go straight to it and show you that the Lord hates Ethiopians. You see what I'm saying? And the first Bible, the oldest Bible is not from Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? The oldest will be the Los Lunas tablets found in New Mexico. Those are the first commandments that were ever found. You know what I'm saying? And they are written in Hebrew. They are not written in Ethiopian. And what's the name? King Solomon did not have any children and did not have sex with that filthy, what her name was, Queen of Sheba. That's not in the Bible. You're going to read some outsourced book to try to say that Ethiopia has any ties to King Solomon and all that Selassie garbage, this, that, and the third. Like, that's where that came from. You know, the Lord never picked a stinking African to be any prophet of the Lord. And his first writings were not in no damn Ethiopian. You see what I'm saying? Salaki. Come. You want me to go ahead and keep going? Yeah. Come, sir. Ethiopia has nothing to do with the Bible. You know, so when the author want to get on, if he want to address this, I'll have the precepts for you to show you that God hates Ethiopia. You see what I'm saying? I thought I'd just go ahead and get that real quick and read some comments. But I'm gonna keep going because we talking about Black history, and this right here, the Lord making us fly, is a part of Black history. You know what I'm saying? So he clothed us. I clothed thee also in bordered work, and shod thee with badger skins, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee in silk. Gave us the finest finest fabrics, as I was just saying. I'm about to look up a badger skin coat. You know what I'm saying? But if any of you just joining us, we're in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 10, verse 11 now. I deck thee also with ornaments, and put bracelets on thy hands, and a chain on thy neck. You ever wonder why we love putting that chain on, letting it swing? You hear that? You hear that? I like the sound of it. You hear me? That's from the Lord. That's something we did. And believe me, the Lord gave us. Nobody else did it before us. We was rocking chains long before anybody else. Right here. This is Black history. You see what I'm saying? What else? Verse 12. And I put a jewel on thy forehead. If I.S.U.P.K, that's what we do. We do what the Bible says. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason why we wear the things. We don't know other Israelite group do anything like this. They don't wear these. We the only ones who do. That's why if you come in my DM or the messages and you ask for one of these, I'm gonna ask you if you in the school. If not, that's dead. That's dead. You're not getting one. You see what I'm saying? You ready for job, sir? Come, sir. And with that, I pass the class off to Precinct Officer Kazaka Amar.
All right, Shalom Israel. If you can hear us loud and clear, type of 1 in the chat. If you can hear us loud and clear, type of 1 in the chat. Let's see why I got up in here with us. All right, let's see. All right. You put the link in the DC chat already, please? Okay. No sweat. Brothers was trying to get on and read for you. No, yeah. It's cool. That's no sweat. What's going on with this light right here? No sweat. Right? So we got your pie in the building. Trooper Shakat, Kaya Bath. Why is this smaller than usual?
That's why I was.
Yeah. We got your Paya, Trooper Shakat, Kaya Bath, Fiery Furnace, Leviathan, Kapash, Shalat, Chavez, Trooper Nasawan, Miss Riley, Quadara. All right, let me share this. Go here. Okay. Quadara. Why is the view like this? What the hell's going on? I don't know why it's showing up like this on the phone. I don't like that. All right, if you haven't done so, everybody, make sure you like and share the stream. If you haven't done so, make sure you like and share the stream. What's going on with it? You just leave it right there. We'll rock with that. Right? Like and share the stream. I see Kodar out of your now. You understand? Give a hand to Officer Shapat for holding down. Understand that? All right. Precinct Officer Shapat, that Yak holding down. You understand? I'm Precinct Officer 5000 Kazaka Ahmad. Shalom Israel. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah Barakatham to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alatham Bahashim, Yahweh Shah to the sisters. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. We are not affiliated with no other Israelite group or Christian organization, and we teach the truth according to the Bible. And what is the truth? The truth is that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. You understand? That's the truth according to this Bible. We've been taught, and the white man is the devil, of course, and we've been taught for so long that the Bible is the white man's book. We've been taught for so long that this Bible belongs to the oppressor, to the colonizer. Type a yes or no in the chat if you've ever heard somebody say they use the Bible to enslave our people. That's something that you'll often hear people that are ignorant of the scriptures and of history. Type a yes or no in the chat if you've heard people say they've used the Bible to enslave us. And I'm going to show you how that's a lie. That's a lie. Go ahead, priest.
All right, if I may, we had a devil in the chat. I want to say last week or the week before that, I think we was in class.
Yeah.
And he was like, y'all should be glad that we gave y'all our book.
Yeah, see? He believed it's his.
Right.
And his ignorance. You understand? Fiery Furnace, Yapaya, Warren, Trooper Shakat, Kayabaf, Kapar, Chavez. Most of us were taught that it is the colonizers who use the Bible to colonize the Native Americans, colonize the Hispanics, colonize Black people. That's a lie. It was never the Bible that was used to colonize us. It was the religion of Christianity. And the problem is you don't know that there's a difference between Christianity and a difference between the Bible. You don't know that they are two separate entities. They have nothing to do with each other. Christianity is white supremacy, white culture. The Bible is Black supremacy, Black culture. And I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. You didn't know in Black history, it's Black History Month. You understand? That's the topic of the class. The Bible is Black history. You didn't know that the two greatest, who I want to say, revolutionaries during the slave time. You understand? The two greatest revolutionaries during slavery, they weren't Muslim, they weren't Pan-African, they weren't Christian. They were two people that knew we are the children of Israel. And I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to show you how the proof of the idea that the Bible is what enslaved us is a lie. You understand? That's an absolute lie. The link in the chat already, priest? No. Let's see. No sweat, no sweat. Let's see. If you haven't done so, make sure you like and share the stream. You said you don't have it? Yeah. Oh, okay, let me why is everything so small? Understanding what's going on with this layout, man. I'm not liking this. Not liking that at all. Let me see. I hate when websites make updates. Like you messing up a good thing. You had a good thing going on. You messing it up. Size, regular, wide. Wide, small font, big. Let me see. Okay. Well, I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it like that. Shalom to Gary Avon. I see you, brother. Right. So now we're going to go into the slave Bible. First, to help you understand that Christianity and the Bible are two separate things, and they did not use the Bible to enslave us. We have to go into the slave Bible. Right. So let's get the slave Bible. Probably, if you could, I'll put the link in the chat. If you could just get the slave Bible on Google, please. Oh, go ahead. Right. So let's see. Here. If you haven't done so, everybody make sure you like and share the stream. If you're watching on your phone, for those that are watching on your phone, are we coming up? Are we coming up clear? Samuel Manley said, God messing up the stream. You're a homosexual. You understand? Yeah, the water. If you're watching on your phone, is it coming in clear? I don't know why it's showing up like this. This is bothering me. Okay, Kai Bob said Khan. Okay, I guess so. Super Nice one said Khan. All right, well, so be it then. He said Khan. All right. You just look weird on it. Yeah. All right. Shalom, Trooper Regash. I see you, mighty man. How you feeling?
Shalom. I'm Tawab. Shalom. How about you, Mr. Rakathon?
If you could, Regash, type in Slave Bible on your phone. Let's get the Slave Bible. And then I sent some articles to Officer Shapat.
I'm using my phone, sir.
Okay. Oh, you're using your phone. Okay, no sweat.
Kind of what kind of, sir?
I did not say YouTube had two options when it comes to watching the stream. That might be what it is, because it's definitely showing up as two different ways. Which is confusing. Wish they would just leave well enough alone, right? Shalom, Shapar, I see you. Okay, YM Israel said it's coming into WAB. Everybody says coming into WAB. So we're gonna rock out then, y'all. Don't mind me, Salakia. I said, don't mind me. Just want to make sure everything is good on this side. She said it's small on the TV. Okay.
Now you that first option right here, or how you do it.
Which one?
Got you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want right here.
No. This part's a while. I'm talking about when you see it. There's two different layouts that they have on here. There's a vertical layout and then the regular one. So people on the phone, I think they seeing it like, see, it wasn't looking like this before. It was looking like
you can't change it. Every time I pop it up here,
yeah,
it's coming out with two like that.
Right.
But only on the main screen. You see that button you just pressed?
Yeah.
We don't have that option.
Right. Okay. As long as it says Tawab there, right? You probably said I'm on my iPad and you are Tawab. Okay. Right. So let's get the Slave Bible, please. Let's read what the Slave Bible is. Oh, yeah, you just give me what they got straight off the slave, what they say the Slave Bible is. And this is important that you understand this, because this disproves the argument that the Bible was used to enslave us. That's not true. You understand? Samuel said, cut it off. We will not cut it off. You understand? You should be quiet and tune in and like and share the stream, Samuel. You understand? That's what you should do. Go ahead. Please read what you got.
The selected parts of the Holy Bible for the use of the Negro slaves in the British West India Island.
The selected parts of the who? Of the Bible?
Of the Holy Bible.
Right.
For the use of the Negro slave.
For the use of the Negro slave. Keep reading.
In the West India Islands, shortly known as the Slave Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It is an abbreviated version of the Bible specifically made for teaching a pro-slavery version of Christianity to enslave people in the British West Indies. Over 90% of the Old Testament and over 50% of the New Testament were removed.
Stop right there. This is what you need. You go to the Museum of the Bible here in DC. In DC, they have the Museum of the Bible. And in the Museum of the Bible, they have an exhibit called the Slave Bible. It's an actual exhibit you can go see. And that Slave Bible you'll see is about this thin. The regular Bible is about this thick. The Slave Bible is about this thin. You understand? The Slave Bible is the Bible that slave masters went and they removed 90% of the Old Testament, which is majority. That's almost all. 90% of the Old Testament, 50%, half of the New Testament. You understand? They completely, that's why they call it the abbreviated version, because they completely shortened the Bible. They shortened the Holy Bible before they gave it to the slaves. That's what the slave masters did, and that's what they gave the slaves to study from and to teach from. Now, my question to all you Pan-Africanists, all you Egyptologists, you conscious community, you Muslims, you complete ignoramuses when it comes to history and the Bible. If the Bible is the white man's book, why would they have to remove the majority of the scriptures before they gave it to black people? You understand? Anybody can answer, of course. Please, anybody can answer. If the Bible is the white man's book, why would they have to remove majority of the scriptures before they I'm just add you to the stage and mute you, Shapak.
Yeah, because I got the
No sweat. Right? Why would they now remove majority of the Bible before giving it to the black slaves? You had your hand raised too, Priest Salaki. Oh, okay. Shalom Yashar Banaf. Kayabab said, it's not. That's true, but give me more. Shalat said, because it's our book. That's true. But give me more. Go ahead, Priest.
That's a lot. You know, I'm about to say, it sounds like to me, like they took all the brotherhood up out of there. So
Yeah.
we wouldn't be brotherly. We wouldn't know we had to be brotherly.
That's right.
That's what most of the law was, made for us to be brotherly to each other.
That's right. But even before that part, there's a something very crucial. If you understand why they had to do this, go ahead.
So we wouldn't know that that's us.
That's the main part. Shapara said to hide the truth. That's correct. That's why 90% of the Old Testament was removed. Because what do you find in the Old Testament? More than you find in the New Testament. And of course, when I say more, the Old Testament and the New Testament, they both agree. But the Old Testament has more of what versus the New Testament? What does the Old Testament have more of? Gary Avon said to hide the truth. That's correct. Yashar Banaf said they couldn't destroy because they needed it. The Old Testament has more of the history, the genealogy, the lineage of who the children of Israel are. That's right, Shapar, the history, the water. Maria said the truth. That's correct. The history. You understand? That's right. The laws and the birthright, the water. Shalom, Kayadawan, I see you. You understand? Chavez said the history. That's correct, Chavez. The Old Testament contains the history, the lineage of how the children of Israel came about, who they come from, their slavery, the captivity, all those things. You understand? Now, the New Testament makes reference to certain things, but the history of who the children of Israel are is found mostly in the Old Testament. And it's important that you understand this because these white slave masters understood what you Negroes who claim to be intelligent today don't understand. I got to get into it with Native Americans all the time because they want to act like the Bible is not our culture. We had a culture before the Bible. No, you didn't, dummy. No, you didn't. Native Americans' culture is the Bible. Latinos, Hispanics' culture is the Bible. Black people, their culture is the Bible. And you act like it's not your culture because you are still a slave. Guess who did know it's your culture and why they took it before they gave it to us? The white man. He knew it was our culture. He knew we are the people in that book. And that's exactly why he had to remove majority of the damn book before he gave it to us, because the Bible is not what they used to enslave us. They use Christianity. The Bible condemns Christianity, condemns religion, condemns the white man ruling over us. Everything that took place during the transatlantic slave trade, if they would have given us the Bible in its entirety, if they would have gave it to us how we have it now, you would see what would happen. I'm going to give you two examples of what happens when we have the Bible. When slaves get the Bible, I'm going to show you what happens. Right, Shalom, Princess Kanawa, I see you. Nick said, your culture is paganism. That has nothing to do with the Bible. You think our culture is paganism because we follow your people. Because we follow your people. You understand? He said Native American culture is paganism. Again, you think that because Native Americans have followed after your culture, after your religion. Our culture is not paganism. Our culture is to serve the God of the universe, the God of the Bible. You understand? So that's what that is. Shalom, Princess Asai, I see you. She said more, YM Israel said more one-on-one convo between him and his children, right? Fiery Furnace said the law, statutes, and commandments. Trooper Shakat said we bear witness of our God, and he does too. He said you lost your whole credibility when you said Native American culture is the Bible, when they in fact worship many gods. You're an idiot. That's exactly what I just said. The Native Americans worship many gods, the same reason why black people are Christian, Hispanics are Catholic. You just said exactly what I said. You're slow. Shalom, Barak, when I see you. Shalom, natural Africanism. Native Americans worship many gods, the sky, the moon, the clouds, the same reason why black people worship sweet white Jesus and Hispanics worship the Mother Mary. Because we weren't given the truth about who we are. When they enslaved us through lies, through religion. And they did it through adulterating the Bible. That's why you have the slave Bible. The slave Bible is them removing majority of it before giving it to us. Now, Shapat, if you could, let's get the let's see what article we're gonna start with. I'm gonna send this to you too, Ragash. I'm gonna send these to you real quick too. Let's see. I'm gonna send it to your messenger. Gosh. Send. Ragash, if you could just pull up this first one right here, and you can start reading. I'm gonna send the other ones too. The one I just please and thank you. Right. For this. I'm gonna show you how you don't know the Bible. You think the Bible is the white man's book. If you think it's what enslaved us, you don't know history, you don't know the Bible at all. Fiery Furnace said the $5 Indians is what those gainsayers are talking about. Joe D said, I thought the slaves were not allowed to read. That's a misconception. That's a lie. And I'm going to go into that, Joe D. Oh, hold on. He dropped down. Shapa, you might have to start it off until he pop back up, please. Yeah. Oh, he using his phone. Okay. Just go ahead, jump back on then, Ragash. If you're using your phone, go ahead, jump back on. I'll have you kicks you off the stream when you go to read. Okay. I got you. No, the messenger. Facebook Messenger. So the first one is, it should be Nat Turner's Rebellion, Soldiers of the Cross. Shalom, Arawadi. It's the Arawadi. If you're able to come up to read, if you could, Babu Shah, feel free to come up in the stand. Shalom, Princess Ra'aya. Give back what you stole. I see you. Shalom. Yeah, it should be right here in your text, excuse me, your Facebook Messenger. Excuse me. Excuse me. Now type a yes or no in the chat if you're familiar with Nat Turner's Rebellion. Let's just first see if anybody's familiar with this. Who all familiar with Nat Turner's Rebellion? Type a yes or no in the chat if you are familiar with Nat Turner's Rebellion. Barack Wana says she is. Trooper Shalat, he is. Yashar Banaf says she is. Princess Kanawa. YM Israel. Kapar. Give back what you stole. Landlord and Fisherman. Fiery Furnace. Arawadia. Shalom, I did not see you. Trooper Shakat said, La'ah, no sweat. That's why we here. Princess Raya said, Khan. Chavez said, Khan. Kayabab said, La'ah, don't remember. That's no sweat. We weren't taught this in school. Shalom, Adiyana. Oh, my bad. She said, La'ah, too. Right? So now, most of us weren't taught this in school. You understand? I'm almost certain none of us was taught this in school. I'm willing to put some money on this. If we were to ask that, 9 out of 10 of you, probably 9.99 of us were not taught this in school, and there's a reason for this. It's on purpose. Shalom, Maria said no. So we're going to read first what Nat Turner's Rebellion is. You understand? And I'm going to show you how this ties on together and why this is so significant and why you should know about Nat Turner's Rebellion and why you didn't learn about it and why they didn't teach it in school. Please, Shapat, if you could. Let me get some incense right here.
1831, Nat Turner led a slave rebellion that led to the deaths of 60 men, women, and children. Turner was very religious. He could read and write as well. Recall that the Bible says.
Hold on, stop right there. So now, Nat Turner was a slave. You understand? YM Israel said, learn in I.S.U.P.K, not school. Me too, brother. You understand? Only way I learned about it was from the U.P.K and the movie that came out in 2016 by Nate Parker. So let me get this first, give you what it is. Nat Turner was a slave down in Virginia, in Southampton County. You understand? He was a slave, and Nat Turner was famous for leading what historians call the most violent slave revolt in the United States history. You understand? He was famous. That's what he's known for leading the most violent slave revolt. Now, the records say Nat Turner and the slaves that rebelled with him, they say they only killed 60 white men, women, and children. Of course, if you understand Esau, he's not going to tell the truth about how successful this slave revolt was. You understand? People actually from the area, white people and black people from the area say that Nat Turner and these slaves that fled, they killed, I ain't gonna say hundreds, they killed in the hundreds of white people. You understand? That's how successful this slave revolt was. Now, of course, I don't trust the white man to tell the truth about that number because it's going to make it look like it's going to inspire black people. You understand? During slavery. So I believe that they definitely are hiding how many white people they killed. Nate Parker is an actor. He's famous for The Great Debaters. I'll pull him up so you can see who he is. Right. This movie came out 2016, I believe, or 2015. Yeah, 2016. Right. Pull this up right here. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen so y'all can see this. Here we go. Why is everything so goddamn little on here, man? Well, I'm acting like I don't see it, brother. Act like I don't see it. Keep moving, keep pushing. Right. So now this is Nate Parker. You understand? This brother right here is the actor. He's a famous actor. He's been in a couple of things. He was in the movie Great Debaters with Denzel Washington. And 2016, Nate Parker independently produced and directed this movie called The Birth of a Nation. And because I remember this vividly, I remember that he got so much pushback for the creation of this movie. Hollywood, no Hollywood studio picked up this movie. No studio in Hollywood wanted to produce this movie or direct it. And so he had to use his own money, and black people came together to get this movie produced. And then when they realized that he was going to go forward with producing this movie, then they came out with the allegations that he raped a white girl when he was in college. They tried to completely slander this brother, Nate Parker. That's right, Barack Obama. He was blackballed after this movie. If you notice, Nate Parker, who had a successful career up until that point, you haven't seen him in anything. They completely blackballed Nate Parker from Hollywood. Shalom, Lawaitan. I see you, mighty man.
Yabashim
Yahabashim. Nate Parker completely was blackballed after doing this movie. And while they were advertising for the movie, brother, I remember the campaign that the news went on to slander this brother. They start pulling up all types of dirt, start trying to now pull up all types of old information, DUIs he had, rape allegations he had when he was in college. Brother, they tried so hard to make this brother look bad as he was producing this movie. The movie was a good movie. You understand? And it's the same reason why you didn't learn it in school. The movie is about Nat Turner. The brother Nate Parker is, as you see in the picture, he yelling with the black men behind him. This movie is detailing Nat Turner's rebellion. You understand? Princess Raya said concert, they gave him hell and only released the film in 2 theaters. I was in Hollywood when this film came out. They treated this film horribly. See? You understand? I remember. You understand? The sisters telling you they did not want to deal with this movie at all. And it's important. It's a reason for it. Nat Turner's rebellion was Nat Turner was a slave, and he led a rebellion in Virginia where these 40 Nat Turner and these 40 different freed slaves went and killed over 60 white people, you understand, in the span of 2 days. Well, Nat Turner was captured 2 months later, and then white people put him in jail. They arrested him. While he was arrested, his lawyer got his confessional, meaning his lawyer now recorded his testimony of why he did it, what was his inspiration, what his life was like. You understand? And his lawyer kept those records and published those records into a book. You understand? Which you can read for yourself. You can order it on Amazon, the book of Nat Turner's lawyer getting his story, his side of the story, and his motivation while he was in jail. I think Nat Turner was in jail. They took him out of jail, and then they tortured him. They beat him. They castrated him. If you don't know what castrate is, they cut off his testicles. They cut off his penis. And then they cut pieces of his skin off, and they hung him. They burned him. And they used his skin for wallets, for shoes, for different things. White people, and then here's the other part too. You probably know this. White people love eating people. You don't know if you knew that. You understand? White people love eating people, and they ate Nat Turner. They ate pieces of Nat Turner. They absolutely brutalized this brother. You understand? Because they were so angry that this black man would rise up and inspire so many other black slaves to rise up and fight back against their slave master. Now, all that's good and dandy, but you got to be asking, why did he did it? Anybody else wondering, okay, well, why did he do it? That's the important part. The important part is the why did he do it? Leviathan, I'm going to send you these articles too. Shapat, if you could take it from the top real slow, please. I'm going to send these to Leviathan real quick. Forward. Leviathan, I'm going to send it to your messenger, mighty man.
Khan, sir.
The water too.
I also got the
it's already queued up, the water. That's perfect. I'm gonna leave it right there so we can have it ready to queue it up. You understand? This is some heavy information we're gonna go into tonight, y'all. You understand? That's how I know that it was the Satan did not want this class to come out. Everything in its power tried to stop this class from being taught, brother. I've never in my life been caught behind a train, Shapat, since I've been in the truth. Coming to class. That just doesn't happen. I don't ever get caught behind a train. I don't ever get stopped by the ambulance and the fire truck on two different occasions. Brother, everything in its power tried to stop us from getting here to teach this class. And that's exactly why I'm going to get my bearings together. You see, I get here in the computer at the view not the same. I understand what that is, brother. And on a side note, brothers and sisters, whenever you get pushback from doing the work of the Lord, push back harder. Whenever you get pushback for doing the right thing, you push back harder, because that's what you should be doing. And again, when you come to do the right thing, you are going to get pushback. When you come to serve the Lord, you are going to get pushback, and you should push back even harder. And that's what we're going to do tonight. You understand? I'm going to act like I didn't show up late. I'm going to act like nothing ever happened. I'm going to act like these words are not too small for me to read. And we're going to go into what we're supposed to go into. Go ahead, Shapat.
It's like about me. All that got killed early because I was here and able to set up the class.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For the Lord. And got the class started. We got a couple videos in. I tried to bring in your class,
Right,
with some Black history about how fly we are.
That's right.
And I would say you arrived right on time, sir.
At the water, to give Priest and Officer Shapat a hand too for going into that history in the Bible of how the children of Israel are absolutely Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today. And you see it in how we are. Right. So now, Leviathan, if you could, the first one I sent you, Nat Turner's Rebellion, Soldiers of the Cross. Let's read that, please.
Con, sir.
Leviathan, please, Shapat. Can I get 2 water bottles, please? No, you good.
In 1831, Nat Turner led a slave rebellion that led to the death of 60 men, women, and children. Turner was very religious. He could read and write as well.
Now, Joe D, the white boy, came in the chat and said, I thought Black people weren't allowed to read and write. There's a common misconception about slavery. Most of us, if not all of us, were taught that Black slaves were not allowed to read and write. That's not true. That is not true. Black slaves could not read and write the Bible. We were allowed to read and write. You got to understand, slaves did all the work in white society.
Right.
You were allowed to read anything that was in relation to your slave. Let's just say if I'm the butler, I have to, and the delivery man brings an order from the grocery store, I have to be able to read the receipt and verify 10 eggs, the water too, priest. You understand? I got to be able to verify, just in case, the water. The butler, as the butler, the enslaved Black man, I have to be able to read the receipt from this brother that's also a slave. He's bringing the goods. I got to read the receipt. It says 10 eggs. I got to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It says half a cup, half a pound of flour. Okay. Half a cup of barley, whatever. You were allowed to read anything that was in regards to your slavery. And there were many Black people, many Black slaves that could read and write very well. Nat Turner was one of them. Go ahead, Shapat.
It was so heavy what you're saying because it lets you know that white people never did anything.
Never.
They did everything for them.
That's right.
Everything. That's why when it came down to it, we had all the jobs because we could do everything.
That's exactly right. If you understand that we were the entire workforce for this country as slaves, you understand, brother, we did everything. And that's why when slavery was over, poor white people did not have jobs because we were the workforce. We had all the skills. And that's why white people now form unions and became violent and drove us out of the South because they didn't have jobs. We were more skilled than them. And of course, you somebody that has a company, no matter how racist you are going to hire the person that is the most skilled. And that's what was going on. We were getting all the jobs after slavery. You understand? So now Nat Turner, he was a slave that could read and write. And he was very religious. You understand? When it says religious, you'll see what it means. Now, keep reading, please.
Recall that the Bible says the Israelites had to conquer the Canaanites before they occupied the promised land.
So Nat Turner read in the Bible that the Israelites had to conquer the Canaanites before they occupied the promised land. Now we get into the meat of it. Hold on. Keep reading.
Identification of slave identity with the identity of children of Israel suggests that American slavers would require conquering as well.
Do y'all not understand what you just read? Or what it says, Salaki, I need the whole link, letters and numbers. He said he need the whole link, letters and numbers. Yeah, I'll take some actually. The water. That's fine right there. That's fine. That's enough. The water too, priest. Something wrong with the link in the chat? Or what it said he need the whole link, letters and numbers. Say it again. Yeah, or why to try it again, because Leviathan and Ragash is in here. They use the same link. Try it again, mighty man, please. I don't know if y'all understood what Trooper Leviathan just read. This is very important. Go ahead, Shapat.
This will be the reasoning for him understanding what him interpreting it as. We have to stomp out these white people if we ever going to have any type of freedom in this land.
But why did he come to that conclusion?
Because he read it out the Bible.
True. Bring it home, though. What did he read in the Bible?
Oh, that when we wanted to be free, we had to stomp out our oppressors. Basically, he put 2 and 2 together. That's us.
That's what you need. He put 2 and 2 together. He read the Bible, brother. Nat Turner, if you didn't know, he was a preacher. That was his job as a slave. Nat Turner was paid. You understand? He said, I'm on my laptop and I have to type it in manually, like Officer Caution sends it out. Okay. Shalom, I see you. Nat Turner was a preacher that was sent to go to different plantations and preach. And he was taught to preach Christianity. That's what he was taught to preach, raised up from young to teach from the slave Bible. Nat Turner one day read the Bible that was in the master's house. He didn't read that slave Bible. He read that it was given to him. One day he read the Bible that was in the master's house and realized this Bible had scriptures talking about the children of Israel in captivity in Egypt. And brother, as Nat Turner read these scriptures in the Old Testament, which is why they removed 90% of it in the slave Bible. When Nat Turner read these scriptures about the children of Israel being in slavery underneath the Egyptians in the Old Testament, Nat Turner started to look at his conditions and the conditions of black people in slavery. And you know what Nat Turner realized? Nat Turner realized that this is exactly what I'm reading in the Bible. That's what he read. Now, again, y'all think we just crazy niggas that picked up this Bible and created this truth. Y'all think we crazy to believe we are the Jews. Well, was Nat Turner crazy? Was Nat Turner crazy? No, he wasn't crazy. Nat Turner read the Bible and the Lord showed him exactly what we know today. Read that part again, Leviathan, that sentence.
Identification of slave identity with the identity of the children of Israel.
The identification of slave identity with the identity of the children of Israel, meaning he read in the Bible the identity of the children of Israel, and then he identified that the water. Then he identified it with the slaves in America. Nat Turner was very intelligent. You understand? And Nat Turner drew the parallel. He read Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Y'all thought that was a new breakdown. You thought the UPK created that. These breakdowns have existed since the Bible, right? Because it's the truth. Nat Turner read Deuteronomy 28 and 68. You shall go into Egypt again with ships. Shalom, Mario, I see you. You will serve your enemy. Nat Turner read all these things and he recognized, hold up. This is not in the Bible that y'all gave me. See, you got this in your Bible in your house. This is not what y'all gave me to teach and preach. I've been teaching and preaching, slaves be obedient to your masters, to my people, because that's what you gave me when you took out the majority of the Bible. And now here I am actually reading the Bible in its entirety, and I see that we are the children of Israel. Here's what's going to blow your mind. Nat Turner was an Israelite. He was an Israelite. Keep reading.
It was believed that Nat Turner's rebellion had roots in slave religion.
When it says roots in slave religion, it's talking about Nat Turner's rebellion had roots in the idea and the belief that we are the children of Israel, that we are the slaves in America. We were the slaves in Egypt. You understand? That's what his rebellion was based off of. Believing that we are the actual people that were in Egypt in slavery. That's why he spoke about the promised land. That's why he spoke about the children of Israel the way he did, because he identified that that's who we are. That's us. This is a preacher now, by the way. He's a preacher. You Christians, you understand? You can't get on here and act like now.
Shalom, y'all should come.
Yahanna, mighty man. Good to see you. Nat Turner was a preacher. Y'all can't act like that Nat Turner. How you let me see.
Just grab his picture and put it up.
Okay, I see how you doing now.
Oh.
Right. So now you can't act like Nat Turner wasn't intelligent and he didn't know the Bible. He was a preacher. You understand? He was a preacher that was preaching. He had a reputation in the area for going to different plantations and preaching. And this brother, with his knowledge of the Bible as he knew it, when he read the Bible in the entirety in the master's house, he realized they have given us something entirely different than what is in this book. He realized, oh, they didn't enslave us with the Bible. They enslaved us with this religion that they have been using me to teach my people to be better slaves. Christianity is the religion of the slave master. The Bible is the belief of the slaves. Go ahead, Shapat.
I know the first thing that came to his mind when he saw their Bible was, why? Why did they give us only this little bit?
Oh, yeah. All of you, when you first come into the truth, you remember that first, it might not be as much as for y'all. If you grew up in the church, it might be. Especially those of us who grew up in the church. When you first heard about the truth, you remember that time period when you felt anger. Some of you may not know what I'm talking about. If you grew up in a church, you understand, and you believe wholeheartedly in Christianity, finding out about the truth made me very angry. Because again, you're realizing that, okay, they taught us something that completely had nothing to do with the Bible. You taught me something to serve you. That's what you taught me. You taught me to love everybody and I have to forgive you and love you in spite of what you've done to me. And that's not in the Bible. And when you find out about the truth of the Bible, it makes you angry. And that's, brother, I can attest, I went through this when I heard the truth. I damn near went through the 7 stages of grief. I was depressed, was confused, I was angry. You understand? Because my entire life and identity was built off of this lie of religion, of Christianity. And then when you hear the Bible, it's like, oh, see, you lied. You lied to me. And you did it using your religion. Keep reading.
As a result of Turner's rebellion, laws were passed restricting blacks from learning to read or write or participating in black prayer meetings.
Because of Nat Turner's rebellion is where you see the law come into place. The laws all across the South of now, black people cannot read. That's when you see that come into place. Nat Turner's rebellion was the catalyst to make the states in the South, many states in the South, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia. It was because of this rebellion that we got. Okay, no sweat. It was Nat Turner's rebellion that caused the states to say, you know what? It is too dangerous to let these black slaves read altogether. You understand? And not only that, we can't allow them to come together to do anything religious on their own. You understand? And that's why when you read about the truth starting from the South, the Jewish man, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta know the history of the truth. You gotta hear Commander General Yahanna or General Hyman break down how it started. You understand? Before 1969, the truth existed, but it was not organized. You understand? There were always a few slaves that knew we were the children of Israel. You read a book called Tell All the Children Our Story, and it tells you about how black people would sneak at nighttime, get headbands and tie it around their head, face the east and pray and read the Bible in dark, through a candlelight in secret. Because those were the few slaves that knew we were the children of Israel. Well, after slavery, after the Emancipation Proclamation, this started to get more traction amongst black people. And the Jewish man, of course, caught wind of this. The Jewish man caught wind of black people outwardly starting to identify. You know, slavery, we had to hide it. In slavery, we had to hide, this is what we believe in, this is what we're doing. After the Emancipation Proclamation, when we were free to practice our beliefs outwardly, you start to see black people pop up now calling themselves Israelites. The oldest church, I'll take one, please. The oldest church in America, it's something AME. I believe it's in South Carolina. Oldest black church in America, the Water Priest. You go look at that church. Guess what they got written in that church? Hebrew. They ain't got no African heebie-jeebie banjo garbage written on that church. The oldest black church in America. It was something AME. You understand? In South Carolina, I believe. They have Hebrew written on the walls of the church. You know why? Because that's us after coming out of slavery now being able to outwardly practice what some of the slaves held on to on those slave ships. Well, the Jewish man caught wind of this, and Jewish people from New York came down south, and they did what white people always do. They came and made themselves in charge of black people being Israelites. And so that's how you get, they said, well, listen, you're Israelites. Well, let me show you how you're supposed to be the children of Israel. Like they seen us waking up. And what they did was they came down and infiltrated the slaves that had the truth. And that's how you have black people still to this day that follow the Yiddish, the Jewish garbage, the Yisrael ben Yisraels and all that. And you see pictures of black people holding the Torah and dressing like the Jewish man with tassels and zits. That comes from the Jewish man infiltrating the free black people that were practicing the truth in the 1800s, the late 1800s. They came down and infiltrated it. And the white man said, you know, you got to learn through us to learn about the truth. And that's what was happening for a time period. Black people were learning from the Jewish man now about our own book. And then, of course, SHALAM, Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church, the WADA. You understand? Or if you could type that, look that up for me. Where is that at? Emmanuel African Methodist, Emmanuel AME Church. Oh, you got it? Oh, go ahead, SHALAM.
Yeah, it's the oldest black church is the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church, founded in 1817 in Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston, South Carolina, the WADA. You understand? The oldest black church in America, Charleston, South Carolina, Emmanuel AME. In that church is Hebrew writing. I don't know if they cover it up or painted over it or not, but there's pictures in black and white of black people dressed like how the Jewish man dressed with Hebrew on the walls. The Jewish man seen that, and of course, the Jewish man knows he's not the real Jew. He came down and said, you got to learn from us how to be Jew, how to be Jewish. Go ahead, Awadi.
So, like, if I could, and just to add on to that, you know, remember the man Ronald Sanders that wrote that book, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands.
Right.
They observed, you know what I'm saying, Reuben and Gad over here. And probably Issachar too, because you know, a lot of this land was Issachar as well, out in the west.
That's right.
They observed, he wrote it in his book, he observed them and he seen what they was doing and keeping the customs. He was like, hold up, these are lost 10 tribes right here. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. So,
they
knew it.
Come.
The whole time. Like, you don't understand because you don't know history. The white man had these records, brother. They knew about the lost 10 tribes, the Hispanics and Native Americans. There's an old Western movie. I forgot the name of it. I used to have a clip of it in my phone. It's an old Western movie where he's saying in the movie, the Indians and the Mexicans are the part of the lost 10 tribes of Israel. They're blatantly saying it in a movie in the early 1900s in the Western. Brother, they've known this forever. But what they did not count on was us finding out. And that's why the Jewish man came down and they took charge of our waking up. And they said, you got to learn how to be Jewish through us. And that's what you've seen happen for about almost 100 years or so. You understand? Almost 100 years. Go ahead, Leviathan.
I just picked up this book. It says How to Make a Negro Christian. And it goes into how to take over, how to teach them, Christianity, how to take over the sermons and all that. It goes in step by step how to make us Christians.
Damn, brother, you don't think they got this down to a science? They've had a long time. That's the Water Barack now. Blazing Saddles is the name of the country movie where they call the Mexicans and Native Americans the lost 10 tribes. They say it in the movie.
Yeah.
You understand? They say it clearly. Leviathan, that book, I've heard about that book. I meant to order it a couple years ago. They have it down to a science on how to get us to serve their God and their religion. You understand? You know why? They need us to be Christian. It benefits them for us to be Christian because Christianity is the religion that makes us good slaves. You know what makes you a bad slave? You know what makes you a rebellious slave? You know what makes you an angry slave? Ask Nat Turner. He'll tell you. When you open up that Bible for yourself and you go in there and you read the Bible without the white man telling you what scriptures to read, without the white man telling you what message to say, when you leave the slaves alone and give them their book without you taking from it, guess what the slaves will do every single time? The slaves will always identify themselves in that Bible. We've done it before. We did it with the Maccabees. We did it in the Roman Empire. We did it here. Go ahead, Shapak.
If I made it so heavy, how you breaking it down? The white man, why would he have to do this? Why would he have to do that? If this Bible wasn't ours,
right?
We can't forget why did Christopher Columbus sail over here with Louis de Torres, the Hebrew translator?
The water. You don't believe what I'm saying to be true. All you have to do is look up Christopher Columbus's Hebrew translator, Louis de Torres. If Christopher Columbus claimed to be looking for a different trade route to China or India, like they taught us in school, why did that devil come over here with a Hebrew translator? You know why? Because Christopher Columbus knew who he was looking for. He knew who was over here. He knew Native Americans and Hispanics, our brothers, are the 10 lost tribes of Israel. He knew that. He knew who he was coming to look for. Just like they knew who they were coming to get from the west coast of Africa. Those white men weren't looking for Africans. How do you know? That's why the Europeans paid the Africans guns and rum. They had to ask the Africans, where are these people? Brother, I couldn't imagine how that went. The white man. Go ahead, Awadi.
What you just said was heavy. It shows you how big of a bum Ham is. Just that, some drinks and, what is it? Rum and what was it?
Rum and guns.
Rum and guns. That's bummified. That's bummy type work right there.
Yeah. The scraps. But again, these are heathens who live backwards, brother. I mean, they're not. They were never a civilized people. So to them, alcohol and guns is all you need when you're a barbarian. Every heathen would take that deal. By the way, the white man, that's what he loves: beer and guns. They pride all his country music is about beer and Budweiser, Bud Light, and his guns. You white men are no barbaric anymore, less barbaric than the Africans. You Arabs are the same way. Go look at them Arabs, brother. They over there getting high off of their Arab alcohol and shooting gun, dancing with AKs in the sky. That's what all the heathens love. They're barbarians because they're not civilized. You can't entice us with guns and alcohol. You know why you've been able to do that with us here? Because we have become like the heathens. Go ahead, Shapat. Go ahead, priest.
I was about to say too, Baba Sean, to add to it, they also had mirrors. They used to give them mirrors. And it's crazy because they definitely will make them hate us after looking at they self in the mirror.
Oh, yeah, brother. They seen, you don't think them Africans seen us and seen them? You read from Babylon to Timbuktu, it tells you how we lived separate from those Africans within their land. Like, could you imagine we in somebody else's land living better than them? Brother, I could imagine the jealousy that would inspire. I don't have to imagine because I see what the white man does here, even though America is not his land, but in his mind, this is his country. This is his country. That's why when you read the records of Black Wall Street, there was an account of a white man that said when he went to burn down a black man's house, he said, this nigga got a piano. I don't even got a piano. You understand? They put that in the movie Rosewood too, but when that was actually said in Black Wall Street, brother, these white people could not fathom in their mind that we were living better and more civilized than them in their quote unquote own country.
Right.
It's the same in Africa. Those Africans hated us. And when the white man came to them, brother, it was nothing for them for them to turn us over. It's like, this is the perfect opportunity to get them out of our land, to get them away from us. And that's what they did. The white man paid the Africans to go into where we were because the Africans knew where we were because we lived separate. It's just like today, if somebody say, if you go to DC and say, where can I find niggas? You know where to go to find niggas in DC. You understand? You're not going to tell somebody Georgetown. You understand? You're not going to tell somebody wherever else white people live. You understand? You know what it's like. Listen, I can show you where the niggas at. But you're gonna need somebody that's familiar with that area. You can't go in there. You are not going to make it. You need somebody that's familiar with that area. You understand? And that's what they did. They paid them Africans to go to where we were and round us up and bring us to the coast where the white man was and sold us. So now bring it back to, I'm jumping ahead. I'm giving you the pieces. It's all going to come together. Stay with me. If you have any questions, type your questions in the chat too. Go ahead, Shapat.
If I made a little bit of Black DC history, Georgetown is actually where Black people used to live at.
Yeah,
that's right.
You're gonna notice that everywhere we live, we make it look so good in our conditions that they want to get there too.
Yeah,
they want to have what we had, be what we got. They also used to give away chicken wings. That was the part of the chicken that they just gave away for free until they found out that it was nutritious, and then now they make you pay for it.
Right. You go ahead, priest.
If I can add on to what Officer Shapat is saying.
Yep,
he's definitely right, because Georgetown, it was accessible to everything that was needed then. And
right,
of course, the devil got jealous, and he was like, "Well, no, y'all got to get out of here." And now we got to get in there. But everywhere we go in the city, and then they move to the suburbs, and then they want to come back in the city and then move us to the suburbs. It's just they can't do it by themselves. They literally need us to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hand in hand and babysit them and all that.
That's right. We make everything appealing. White people don't realize how valuable something is until we have it. You understand? Because we are he doesn't understand we're the value. Like, he think it's the land. He think it's the area. He think it's us. That's why whenever we went to the cities, white people fled the cities into the suburbs, and then we stayed in the cities long enough. Now they want to come back to the cities. When we went to the suburbs, now they want to come back to the suburb. Brother, it's a game of just cat and mouse. They see the value. We make it valuable, but they don't understand what they're seeing is us as a people. It's not the land. It's not the neighborhoods. It's the people. You understand? Go ahead, priest.
I'm old enough to be able to say that my vision of DC is how I grew up. I no longer like DC anymore.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Everything closes at 12 o'clock. Nonchalant is a DC rapper. She had a song called 5 o'clock in the morning. Why?
Right.
Because everybody was out till 8 in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, you definitely was outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? DC is, it's not like it used to be.
That's what happens when Esau comes. He takes the spirit from a place. He takes the thing that we make a place home. I've seen this many times. I've been to sisters' houses in the projects, brother. And if you look at where they live, you'll be like, this is absolutely terrible. Then you go into their home and it's like, damn, she made this hellhole homey. You understand? Like she made this hellhole a homey place. I've been to white people's houses in my youth, and white people got all the money and they do not know how to make a mansion feel homey. You got all this space and all this money. You don't know how to decorate it the right way. That's why they got books on how decoration. I never understood that. Why do you need a book to tell you how to decorate? I thought that's just something you know how to do. But white people need a book to give them ideas on how to do things because they don't have the spirit that the Lord gave us. A Black and Hispanic woman can go somewhere and make that place heaven in that area. Can absolutely transform it to where it's like you forget you in the projects. You forget you in the ghetto. You understand? That's the spirit the Lord put on us. Go ahead, priest.
I made it so heavy how you said they need a book for everything. And, you know, it shows that Blacks, Latino, Native American, we naturally have game. I was reading a book called The Game, and it was supposed to show you how to have more game when you approaching women to get women. Everything I read in the book, I already do.
Yeah.
It was only one thing that was probably, I would say, I didn't stress it as much, but it was like the 3-second rule. If you see a woman you want, it's better to just go straight at her. Don't sit there and contemplate.
Right.
That's probably the only thing that I might have did a little bit, but I would still go over there. But I went on a 3-second rule.
You didn't need that book.
I didn't need it at all, but they need a book for that.
They need it, brother. Those things are not for us. They need those things because they're not God's people. So now let me tie this back to this part right here. So I won't get too far off. All those were good additions too, what y'all was saying. The water. The Jewish man seen we were identifying as Israelites after the Emancipation Proclamation. They came down from up north, from Boston, from New York, from Connecticut. And then they said, you have to learn from us in our synagogues on how to be Jewish. Gerson's Portuguese said, this is completely false. Tell me what exactly is false, please. Let's if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it, Gerson. What exactly is false? And then eventually what you'll find is there were Black men who again went into the scriptures and realized we've lost our way. We've never needed the Jewish man to tell us how to be who we are. We are the children of Israel. They are the synagogue of Satan. Right. It was brothers that were in the synagogues learning from these Jewish men. And again, they went into the scriptures without the white man and realized, okay, this synagogue of Satan is applying to these people we learning from. And there were brothers who were courageous and bold enough to say, we're not going to learn from the white man anymore. We'll take it from here. And they left the synagogues and they started to teach. And of course, I'm giving you the history, a brief history. That's how you get One West eventually. And in 1969 was the formal establishment of the first, you understand, the first, I'm saying first, of the only home of the truth. You understand? 1969 is the establishment, but that came from all the way back from the slaves, the few slaves that knew they were the children of Israel. Nat Turner was just one. He was just one. Go ahead.
Talking about me, it's kind of crazy that and it's not crazy, but it's the truth that most of us in this chat, we've been in the truth and we've already heard just about everything be proven. That what we're saying is the truth. That's why we're still here.
That's right.
Whereas the person came in the chat talking about this is completely false. He is of the people that we say nothing but lies. He comes right in the chat with a lie.
Yeah. Scripture say that. You understand? When the spirit of the Lord is with the children of Israel, then comes the evil one, then comes the adversary.
Right.
You understand? Leviathan, skip me down in that article past the italics part and go to where it says slave owners feared that slaves.
Con,
So let's get
sir.
some more on this one. Go ahead.
Slave owners feared that slaves would learn to read the Bible.
Slave owners feared that slaves would do what?
Would learn to read the Bible.
See, you don't understand. You do not understand a goddamn thing. And when you hear somebody say this, y'all correct them, man. I don't care if you a sister, you a brother, you a child, you a young man or young woman. You hear somebody say they use the Bible to enslave us, you open your mouth and defend this revolutionary book. Because this is not what they used to enslave us. They were scared of us reading this book. They were scared. They passed legislation. This whole part that I had Leviathan skip, it gives you the different states and the laws that they passed after Nat Turner's rebellion in 1831 and 1832. Brother, after this rebellion, states literally made it illegal to read altogether, to write, to have religious gatherings for Black people. The states completely increased the oppression regarding us being religious and religion. And the biggest thing that they feared, brother, was us reading the Bible. You can't tell me that this is not our book. The Bible is the book of revolutionaries. The most famous revolutionaries and the most successful revolutionaries in American history followed the Bible. That's why the Black Panthers failed. You didn't use the Bible. That's why the Nation of Islam failed. You didn't use the Bible. You name me any quote unquote Black liberation. That's why Marcus Garvey, you understand, and all that Pan-African garbage, they failed. Umar Johnson, he's failing.
Right.
He's been trying to build a school in Delaware for 10 years when Commander General Yahanna has 2 schools in Delaware. The Bible is the book of revolution. And any group, any Black, Hispanic, or Native American group or organization that claims to be revolutionary, that claims to be radical, if the Bible is not the center of your premise, it's not the center of your core beliefs, you're not revolutionary. You're not radical. The 2 most successful slaves in history knew they were Israelites, subscribed to being an Israelite. And I'm gonna get you the second one and another one. Most of y'all didn't, a lot of y'all didn't know Nat Turner. All of you know this second one I'm gonna go into in just a second. Right? So it says slave owners feared that slaves would learn to read the Bible. Go ahead. Keep reading.
Perhaps they saw slaves finding hope in the Bible, and they were establishing a biblical identity.
This is the whole reason why they removed 90% of the Bible, 90% of the Old Testament, 50% of the New Testament, because they knew if these niggas in slavery here in America read the Bible in its entirety, there's no way we wouldn't identify with us. It's like if you see a video and you see the back of your head, you know what you look like. Hold on, that's me. Hold on, rewind it, pause it, brother. That's me. Everybody can argue with you all they want. You know when you see you. It's like, no, nigga, that's me. That's me. I know the back of my head. You ain't never seen the back of your head. You know that's you. You ain't never seen the damn back of your head. You can see a video of the back of your head and you're like, hold on. That's me right there. It's the same thing. The slave masters knew, brother, we would see us if we would read this Bible because it's us. You understand? You would know you when you read about you. And that's exactly what happened with Nat Turner. And not just Nat Turner. There were other slaves, brother, too. They didn't lead rebellions, but they followed the customs of being an Israelite in secret. You understand? And that's what they feared. They feared that more slaves would find out that these are the children, that they are the children of Israel. They feared that. That's why they said they feared reading the Bible. You see, it didn't say that they feared Black people going to church. It did not say that. That's what the slave master wanted. That's what he promoted. He pushed you going to church because in that church now, they can supervise what you're learning. They can curate the message you're getting. They can control what you're receiving. That's why church still to this day, brother, is owned and operated by the white man. I don't care how black your church is ran by the United States government. And that's why there's so many churches in our communities. That is the only thing that is allowed to be so much in our community. Everybody else talk about we got so much liquor stores and why do you let so many liquor stores be in here? Nobody ever talks about how come we got so many churches. Because it goes hand in hand. You understand?
Go
ahead.
Like, is the liquor stores, the carryouts, and the abundance of churches.
That's right. And the church, ain't nothing wrong with the liquor store and carryout. You understand? The liquor store and carryout is convenient. That church, on the other hand, that's the problem.
Sir.
Go ahead, Leviathan.
It was so heavy what you was talking about, the slave rebellions. It says historians estimate that there were over 250 to 300 recorded instances of slave revolts.
Right. They didn't taught us about none, brother, in school. They taught us about none. And now, if any of you learned about any of the slave revolts in school, type a yes in the chat. Because maybe my public schooling was jacked up. You understand? Maybe I went to different schools. Maybe I got terrible schooling. If any of you learned about any of those 200, 300 slave revolts, let me know. Maria said it's a church on every corner in their area. Damn. Chavez said vape stores are starting to pop up like crazy. I'm seeing that too, Chavez. Vape stores and smoke shops. Shalat said he didn't learn about it. Yapai didn't learn about it. I for sure didn't learn about any slave revolts. I.S.U.P.K said they did in the Caribbean. Most High Christ. But you see how here in the States, they made sure to not teach any of us about these slave revolts. You know why? Because if you go to the root of how they started, I'm almost certain, brother, majority of those slave revolts started from slaves reading the Bible. You understand? Look at all the no's. Maria, Kayadwan, Barak Wana, Adiyana, Princess Raya, Nawan Ya'ala, Shalom, Nawan, Chavez, Nasawan. Go ahead, Arwadi.
The only one that I did learn about, because I had it was for first and second quarter, it was African American studies. Then it's third and fourth, it was African studies. But they did teach us about Nat Turner, but not in this manner right here. You're not gonna get the real deal, you know.
Brother, you got some good schooling. Because we ain't learned about Nat Turner. Nawan Ya'ala said he learned about the Haitian Revolt of 1800. That's the only one we learned of. That's the only one. Hussein Le Overture in 1804. That's the only thing we learned about all the way in Haiti, which is important. But they didn't tell. Like, and that's why black people in America, a lot, you hear this phrase where black people be like, we're not our ancestors. Y'all heard that phrase before? Black people be like, we are not our ancestors. Anybody know the reason for that phrase? Why do black people say that phrase? You gotta be familiar with why people say it and when they say it.
Sulaki, if I could.
Go ahead, Priest.
I heard it before, but it sounds like they don't want to be associated with slavery or no type of torment.
That's okay. That's part of it, but that's not why they say that phrase. We are not our ancestors. It go into what we just went into right now, Shapat.
Basically, they want to forgive heathens, love everybody.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Black people, Barack, when I said my mom told me about the slave revolt from Guyana, where she's from. See, that's good. In the Caribbean, they learned about them revolts. That's good. Y'all had a lot of revolts in the Caribbean as well. The one y'all said, we are not going to bow down, is what they're saying. The water.
Yeah.
When they say we are not our ancestors, black people today, when they say that, they're saying we not like them slaves that y'all abused and they didn't do nothing. It's an evil thing to say we are not our ancestors. That's right, Adiyana. They would fight back. That's why they say it. Yes, that's what they're saying. The reason why we say that in our ignorance is because we weren't taught. Nigga, they did fight back. They did rebel. They did rise up. They did stand up. They did refuse. The white man made it very important to never teach us that. Because if you could see your people at one point did something, you would know if we did it then, surely we can do that again. And that's why still to this day, if you ever been around Haitians, brother, Haitians have a certain spirit of rebellion that you can't understand. You kind of have to be around them and see what I mean. I've been around Haitians within the Haitian community. I ain't talking about a separate Haitian, like individual Haitians. I'm talking about when you get around Haitians as a community, they have a certain spirit of pride in the fact that they rebelled. And that's why you'll see, brother, there is certain things that Haiti does not suffer that other tribes will suffer. You know why? Because they know very well about what their forefathers did. It's important that you know what your forefathers did and what they refused to do and how they stood up. The white man here in America, he understands this. And this is not a slight to no other tribes. The white man understands the tribe of Judah has to have no hope. The tribe of Judah cannot, absolutely not know about any of this because the tribe of Judah, if they stand, everybody else is going to stand. That's in the Bible, by the way. The white man, he understands that. You don't understand it because you so busy trying to be divided. The white man understands whatever these niggas here do, everybody else is going to do. And that's why there's a vested interest to make sure black people here in America are absolutely reduced to powder. You see how the brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, they learned about the rebellions. You understand, at least some of them, brother, and here in America, we learned about none of them because to know that your people did in fact stand up and fight puts in a spirit in you to not allow certain things to happen to you. You understand? And when you go into the history on why they rebelled, again, most of the time you'll find out that it was directly tied to the Bible and us identifying as the children of Israel in slavery in Egypt again. So now, where we at? Skip me down. So somebody had something? Okay. Keep reading, Leviathan, please.
An effort that lifted slave identity was a threat to slavery.
Go ahead.
On the ex-slave's interview for Bullwhip Days related how her Uncle Bull learned to read and was severely punished for it.
Right. Her Uncle Bull was a brother that was a slave, and he was tortured, brother, for reading after Nat Turner. He was tortured, unbelievable. They got the records of what happened. You understand? From the slaves' mouths. He was tortured for reading after Nat Turner because of how scared white people were that black people would read the Bible. Y'all don't understand, brother. That Bible is the book. It's the source. It's always been the source of true radical revolutionaries. The Romans called Christ a dangerous, fanatical revolutionary. And guess what? What did Christ do? Christ wasn't Pan-African. Christ wasn't Muslim. Christ wasn't FBA. Christ wasn't ADOS. You don't even hear about that garbage no more. That's how quick you movements pop up and disappear. Don't worry about these movements, y'all. 3 years ago, there's a movement called ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery. You hear nothing about them niggas no more.
Right.
You movements come and go. Guess what has remained the same? The radical revolutionaries that follow the Bible. You understand? Princess Raya said Montgomery Ball was a good example of that. The water. The Montgomery Ball, that's when the black people fought back against the white people on that boat in Alabama. You understand? That happened 3-4 years ago. Still to this day, brother, do you know why that was so powerful for black people, specifically the tribe of Judah? Why was that Montgomery Brawl video so powerful? Why was it so powerful? Go ahead.
Judah ain't seen nothing like that type of, stand up ish in a minute. That right there hit home just when it needed to, with all the things going on in the country,
Concert.
Go ahead, Leviathan.
Yeah, you saw black people swimming to go help this brother that was being bullied.
Mm-hmm. Brother, that was a day that we all should remember. The reason why that was such a powerful moment for black people is because, again, the idea and lie that we are people that don't fight back, that don't stand up. That's why it was so powerful, because in our minds, we're not used to seeing, we don't do this. We're not used to seeing black people stand up and fight back against their oppressor. What we're used to seeing is Sweeto. I always watch this video when I need to get angry when I'm about to go to the gym. Watch the video of black people letting the police beat them on the bridge to Selma. Y'all followed these gay Christian pastors into letting the police beat you, and you just you laying there taking it for the sake of, I don't know what you thought you was doing, taking a whooping like that. That's what we used to. That's like, and again, that's what is ingrained in our mind. That's what they allow us to see. They allow us to view our people through that lens. The people that got spit on and kept singing, the people that got kicked and firebombed and beat down, and we just was there still singing, still hoping and praying. That's not the history. That's not the truth. No, the truth is, brother, we have always fought back. There have always been brothers and sisters that said, no, not today. The problem is Esau did an excellent job in removing that from history and making sure we don't know that. Thank the Lord for social media, because now you're seeing videos of black people smacking Karens when they try to attack them. You're seeing videos of black people defending themselves and Hispanics defending themselves, when this always existed. You talk to your grandfathers and grandmothers. Some of you got family members from the South. You talk to your great grandparents, if they're still alive, or their grandparents, or your great aunts and uncles. A lot of you don't know this. Your family got to the North because one of your family members killed a white man, and then y'all had to flee up north.
Right.
You know how common that's. One second, Arwadi. You know how common that story is. It's more common than you all probably wouldn't know. Many black people that live up north now, your family had to come up north fleeing because one of your family members killed a white man. Not out of killing him out of evil, standing up against his evil and defending himself and killing him. And that's how your whole family had to leave, had to flee up north. And that here you are today because of it. Go ahead, Arwadi.
Oh, yeah, Salaki, sir. You know how Al Bundy on Married with Children, his biggest accomplishment in his loser life was those 4 touchdowns in that championship game or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that goes back to what you were saying with the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Right.
That he's dead now, but John, what is his name? John Lewis.
Yeah.
Him. You know who he is.
Yeah.
His biggest achievement was trying to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge. He always bragged about how he got beat. You know what I'm saying? As if it was some type of accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know
like a badge of honor.
Right.
He died, brother, believing that meant something. And that's the evil of Christianity. Like, imagine you somewhere getting beat, and in your mind, you telling yourself it's all for a purpose. As you getting beat, you have to tell yourself it's all for a greater goal. It's for a purpose. It's for the bigger picture. It wasn't. And you brothers and sisters of the civil rights era, I hate to say, you were led astray. You were led. It was not your fault. It is not your fault, but you were led astray. Go ahead, Shapop.
My man, I had it with Officer Wad. He was saying Al Bundy talking about 4 touchdowns. He wasn't playing no black school.
Yeah, forget about it. Ain't no white boy scoring 4 touchdowns playing niggas.
Right.
You understand? So now, where we at? So we 904. Let me get this other one before we run out of time. Okay, so now drop that. Let's get the. We ain't got to go to the other article. You got the video queued up, Shapat, still, or I gotta pull it up. I don't see it. Nah, I see you. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you. We could go more to Nat Turner. I got another article that goes into. Matter of fact, Leviathan, if you could just put that second article real quick, Mighty Man, while we getting this video queued up. You just click that second one. It's trying to load. There you go. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you where to start to read at. All right, let me show you where to read that. All right, Leviathan, go down to. So if you scroll on that article, it's the start of the article is reading the scriptures with Nat Turner.
Con,
So,
sir.
1, 2, 3, 4. Go to the fourth paragraph where it says toward the end of the book. Lorenz Hayes said, my adoptive parents are white. What do I do with that? How old are you, Lorenz? Just type in the chat so I can know, because depending on how old you are, it depends on what you're able to do. So that's why I'm asking, Lorenz. You say your adoptive parents are white. How old are you? That plays a big part. Tell me how old you are, Lorenz. I'm gonna give you exactly what you need. You say it again. Man, if you're gonna see, he could tell him, depending on how old he is. If you're a young brother, you might want to, keep a house over a roof over your head. You understand? Do what Colin Kaepernick did. Use them crackers, you understand, to get into college. Use them to get into good schools, to get use them crackers for their connections, man. And then when you get put on and you able to get your own, and then do your own thing and act like they did nothing for you after that. Dude, that's what you do. Be completely ungrateful for them doing everything they did for you, because they should have did more.
That's right.
It's the least they could do. Let them do everything they can do to make your life successful. And when you get successful, be ungrateful for it. When you come around them, make them feel bad that they didn't do more. You understand? Like you could have did this. You could have do that, because they owe you much more. Right. So now read that, please, Leviathan, toward the end of the book.
Con, sir. Toward the end of the book, Turner preaches a sermon that directly counters Whitehead's.
So now Whitehead was the name of the slave master who was also a white preacher. There's a scene in the movie Birth of a Nation. If y'all haven't seen this movie, I implore all of you to let me see if I can pull it back up. How do I bring that screen back up? I gotta learn how to work this joint. There we go. I implore all of you, if you get a chance, to watch this movie, Birth of a Nation. You understand? It'll give you an idea of what happened. It's still not, of course, it's a movie, so it's not history, but it'll give you an idea of what took place in history. White is a scene in this movie that describes this right here. Whitehead was the slave master who was a preacher that was over Nat Turner. And there's a scene in the movie where after Nat Turner read the Bible in the master's house, they were preaching back and forth. Like Nat Turner would say something, and then the white preacher would say something to try to reduce what he said. And brother, they were going back and forth, scripture for scripture, like, no, that's not what it says. And then they finally smacked Nat Turner in the mouth and started to beat him, because the white man realized, oh, nigga, you've been reading that other Bible. The only way you could know what you just been knowing and you was battling like this, because you weren't reading the Bible we gave you. You was reading that other Bible, the actual Bible. You wasn't reading that slave Bible, and that's what they're beating them for it. Right? So this is when it talks about this right here, Whitehead Excuse me. Whitehead is the slave master, the white preacher over him. Go ahead.
White man's religion don't teach nothing to black folk except to obey old master and live humbly.
Stop right there. You heard it from Nat Turner's mouth right there. This is a direct quote from Nat Turner. He said this to the lawyer when he was in jail to be killed by these crackers, these devils, excuse me. Nat Turner is telling his brother why he did it and what was his inspiration. And he's like, I'm not going to be a Christian. Nat Turner understood the white Christianity was the white man's religion, and his religion don't teach black people nothing except to obey massa and live humbly. That's what Christianity was built for you to be thankful. You ever heard of type of yes or no in the chat? If you ever heard a Christian say, I'm thankful that I woke up this morning. Go ahead, Sapot.
Every time I hear him say that at the slave, I'll be like, not me. I want to rule the world like the Lord said.
That's right.
I'm not a slave.
Yeah. You ever heard a Christian say that? How you doing? I can't complain. I can't complain. Why can't you complain? Let's dissect that. Why can't you complain? We don't even understand the slavery has been passed down within us. I'm glad the Lord woke me up this morning. Go ahead. Somebody want to say something? Look at all the yeses. Look at all that. You understand? All of us have heard that. That comes from slavery. It comes from Christianity. Well, you're supposed to just be glad, nigga, you woke up. You could have, I could have killed you, right? You seen what I did to old Johnny boy up there. You see him strung up swinging from that tree? I gave you the gift of life, boy. You should thank the Lord you woke up this morning. What you complaining about? You ain't got nothing to complain about. He hung up on the tree. You should thank God I gave you life today, boy. Nigga, please.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead, Arawadi.
Yeah, that's such a weak saying. Like what if the slave woke up and literally looked to the left or right and seen somebody getting bodily violated sexually?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Then what? You happy? You just thank the Lord that you woke up then? Okay.
Yeah, brother. The amount of mental and emotional damage that we suffered. I mean, the fact that we still say these things today lets you know that, brother, they have put in us something that only God can take out of us. And that's why you got to come into the truth, because Christianity is not a religion. It's a religion, but it is an absolute philosophy that ingrains itself in you. And it affects how you view things, how you operate, how you speak, and it destroys you. Lisa John said she heard it so many times. Me too, since I grew up saying it. Sometimes I got to fight myself from saying I can't complain. That's one that I'm so used to saying. I got to fight myself from saying it. I can't complain, actually. And now that we own it, let me go ahead and give you my list of complaints. You understand? Let me use this time to complain. Brother, every time I get on Facebook and I make a post about what white people have done to us, white people always get on there and say, well, if you don't like it so much, you can go to Africa. They say that because you are not allowed to complain. That's why they say it. They say it because you, as the slave, nigga, you should be grateful for whatever you have in here. You should be grateful for whatever you suffer. You should be grateful. You shouldn't complain. That's why it's your job to complain. Complain. Every chance you get, complain. When I say complain, I'm talking about righteous complaints. You understand? Righteous complaints. Complain every chance you get. Go ahead, Shapat.
We can't talk about slavery when they can talk about the Holocaust and 9/11. We can't complain about anything.
Right.
And they complain all the time about Trump. Why don't they go back to Europe?
Brother.
Why don't they go back to the Caucasus Mountains where they really from? You know what I'm saying?
What you said is a mouthful. I use this point all the time. When somebody brings that up, usually it's a Republican that says it. You understand? Somebody that supports Donald Trump. Democrats don't usually say this. They believe it. They still racist too, but the people that say go back to Africa or leave the country, it's usually Donald Trump supporters. when they say if you don't like it, you can leave, ask them, did Donald Trump leave America when Obama was in office? Did Donald Trump leave America when Biden was in office? Because he bitched and complained the entire time both of them were in office. And so did his followers. You don't think we remember? You cried when Obama wore a tan suit. That's how fragile you devils are. You cried when a Barack Obama wore a tan suit. And I'm not a proponent for Obama. He's a stinking African. He's a heathen. But what I'm doing is I'm pointing out the facts. You white people cried when Obama wore a tan suit. That was just such a violation. Yeah, none of you devils left America. When you complain about Obama, when you complain about Biden, you stayed here and you complained. You know why? Because you know it's an American right and freedom to complain. Free men are allowed to express their grievances, even if it's against the country and the government. That is a right of a free man in America to express your grievances, to complain. You know why we're not allowed to complain? Because white people inherently do not view us as free men. They view us as slaves, as a lower class. And we're supposed to just be okay with police brutality. We're supposed to be okay with ICE. We're supposed to be okay with poverty. We're supposed to be okay with the racism and hatred and polluted air and polluted water, dirty water. We're supposed to be okay. We're supposed to thank God that we just woke up this morning. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for letting me see another day. That's not good enough.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead, priest.
I want to make 2 quick points. Like you right on that. Because they'll say, you alive, ain't you?
Right.
And what about the if you mentioned something like about the crack epidemic, what I'm saying, throughout the 80s and early 90s, they was like, well, and even some of our people are in cahoots with that. They were like, well, nobody told you to do it,
Yeah.
Like they ignore the oppression.
That's exactly what they do. They ignore the reality of the circumstances. They're evil. You understand? Barack Obama said her son asked, if black people aren't slaves anymore, why do Edomites still hate us? That's an excellent question, mighty man. Here's the answer. What you got, your pot? Leviathan, in the meantime, read what you got, please. I'm gonna get this. Hold that. Go ahead, Shapat. Let's answer the question first.
I got the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
That's right.
And hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
That's right. Here's the reason why, young brother, mighty man. 2 answers. The first one is the Lord said white people would have a perpetual hatred for God's people. It doesn't matter what we do, what our conditions are, how we talk, how we dress, how much money we have or don't have. White people's hatred for us will never change. And that was so freeing for me because my entire life before I came to the truth was molding myself on how to be acceptable to white people. That was my life. I know it's hard to see now, but my entire life before the truth was, how do I become more acceptable so I can get ahead in society? And then I realized the hard way, nigga, there's nothing you could do. I realized that, brother. I was working in law enforcement and got pulled over at gunpoint. And I said, what the hell? How the hell I'm in I.S.U.P.K military working as law enforcement and you treat me like this? I felt like Lorenz Tate and Dead Presidents at the end, bro. That's how I felt. I said, you gonna do this to me? Some of you had to get your heart. Some of us have to get our heart broken. You understand? Esau's gonna always hate us. Now, here's the other part. We're still slaves, mighty man. When we are absolutely still slaves. We're still slaves. We were not freed with the Emancipation Proclamation. You understand? It's just the format of our slavery has changed, but we are absolutely still slaves. You understand? So that's why. You understand? Go ahead, Shapat.
When I was saying earlier, I'm not a slave. That's spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spiritually not a slave.
No, I know what you mean, because in the U.P.K, we're not slaves, meaning Nat Turner wasn't a slave. We are not slaves. Nat Turner was a slave, brother. He was a slave with shackles and yokes of iron. But Nat Turner was not a slave because Nat Turner rejected the religion of his slave master. He rejected the religion of his oppressor, and that's us in here. We reject Christianity, we reject Islam, we reject homosexuality, lesbianism, murder, theft, stealing. We reject everything that is your culture. And because of that, we are free men in here. You understand? You can tell the way we speak, we free. Y'all couldn't tell? Here's the proof I'm free. Watch this. If you ever was confused, the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right?
Right.
I'm free. I'm free. I'm a slave. I'm a slave, young brother, but I'm free. And you should tell yourself, you understand what we just did. You should say it. You got to remind yourself that you have freedom. The truth, that's right in the 1 year island. That's the precept you will go to. The truth shall make you free. You could be, John was in prison on the island of Patmos, and John was free. You understand? So now, Leviathan, please keep reading. Let's get some more on this. That's right. Like and share the stream. Damn right.
Con sir. But them of you that recollects, they Bible knows about Israel and Egypt and the peoples that was kept in bondage.
Now, by the way, this is not Leviathan talking like that. You understand? He knows how to speak very well and read very well. This is written how Nat Turner spoke. You understand? So that's why if it sounds a certain way, it's written how he spoke. Nat Turner is saying right here, he said, white man's religion don't teach nothing to black folk except to obey old master and live humbly. But them of you that recollects they Bible knows that Israel and Egypt and the peoples that was kept in bondage. Here's the part that you cannot forget. Read this part right here, Leviathan.
Them Jews was just like black folk.
Read it again.
Them Jews was just like the black folk.
Nat Turner himself understood that the situation was so identical and parallel that he came to the conclusion that we are the Jews in the Bible. Do you understand? He came to that conclusion. And that's what caused him to go through the. Now, of course, let me clear this up right here, make this very clear. Do not go out and kill white people and white families. Do not do that. Nat Turner found out he was an Israelite, but Nat Turner was not in the truth. There's a difference. He was not in the truth. You understand? Because if he was, he would know that killing white people would not deliver you from a prison sentence that came from God. Us serving white people and being underneath white people is a prison sentence from God. Right. Killing white people is like killing a prison guard. Nigga, you're not freeing yourself from prison. You're going to get added time. You're going to get added time. You know how you get out of this prison? Serve your sentence and become the person you were not, the person you become a different person than who you were when you got in prison. And that's what we have to do as the children of Israel. Go ahead, Shapap.
It's like, my man, I got a precept.
Go ahead, priest.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
This is an excellent precept. Nat Turner, he read the Bible, brother, but he might have, in his zeal and his anger, he might have skipped over this one. And I understand. The brother was in slavery, watching the atrocities that was happening. All that brother knew was anger, righteous anger. And the Lord said, oppression maketh a wise man mad. Nat Turner was angry. He was very angry. You know how angry you got to be to say, I'm killing white folks. Brother, you read, they got the list, the victim list of who they killed. Of course, I think there's more. Brother, Nat Turner and these black slaves killed a white man and his 10 children and his wife. These brothers were no cowards. Brother, these brothers was hardcore, but they were wrong. But the point is, imagine how angry you got to be where you going and you don't say spare the kids. Kill them little white kids too. Kill all of them. That's what they did. Nat Turner was angry, and his anger was righteous. His actions were wrong because the Lord told us this right here in the Bible. Go ahead, Shapap.
Obviously, he didn't skip over Psalms 137. I think it was.
Yeah, dashing the head against the stone.
That dashed their little ones against the stone.
Yeah, brother. See, Nat Turner didn't understand. There's a time coming for that, Nat Turner. And I pray through the Spirit of the Lord that Nat Turner is brought back in the earth and he gets to do this righteously. That's what I pray.
Right.
I pray that Nat Turner and all the men of courage that followed him that day are brought back into the earth and get to do this the right way when Christ returns. They didn't do it right at that time. And this is why the Bible says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You understand? With the tearing down of strongholds. Nat Turner, he was right there. He rejected the slave master's religion. That's all he needed. Now all he had to do was live according to the Bible and teach other black people to reject the religion of the slave master. You understand? What just like Nat Turner, a lot of you're not disciplined. And as great as Nat Turner was, he was undisciplined. You understand? He didn't have discipline to say, you know what? This is what I want to do, but this is not what I should do. Go ahead, priest.
If I may, it was heavy what you just said. May just brought this in my mind. And, the Christ was given another chance. What he did as Adam. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
When he died on the cross, he said it's finished because he actually finished it. So Lord allow, we are being given a chance every time we come back to actually finish what we did wrong.
That's right, brother. And I pray we all get that chance. I pray for this is a prayer. I pray for all of you, especially me, but all of you, of course, my brothers. We like partakers, brother. I pray we get to see the chariots come back, and we get to be a part of the hunters now. We fishing right now. You understand? We're fishing. I pray that we are alive to allow the Lord turn us into hunters, and now get to do what Nat Turner was trying to do before it's time. Everything has a time and season. Nat Turner, you move before your time, brother. And that's why we here to correct what you didn't know. Go ahead, Arawadi.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do with that hunting,
Yeah.
Work to put in.
That's right, brother. We got a lot to do. You understand? So now let me we're gonna drop that for time's sake. Now let me pull this video up. So now we talked about Nat Turner. Now type a yes or no in the chat if you know who Harriet Tubman is. Type a yes or no in the chat if you know who Harriet Tubman is. Arguably the most famous freer of slaves in history. I don't know who anybody else who's bigger than Harriet Tubman, actually. Harriet Tubman is bigger than Nat Turner because all of you all know who Harriet Tubman is. I don't think anybody gonna say no. Leviathan, Arawadi, Yahanna, Maria, Trooper Shakat, Mario, Kapa, Kayaba, Chavez. We all know who Harriet Tubman is. Lisa John, Princess Asar, Naimia, Young Man Matthew, Yapaya. Yeah. Warren. Here's what they don't teach us about Harriet Tubman. Do you know what inspired Harriet Tubman to go and free black people from slavery? Of course, y'all in the class, so you already know the answer. It's right on the same topic. The same thing that Nat Turner realized to make him go kill white people is the same thing Harriet Tubman realized to make her go free black people. Harriet Tubman found out she was an Israelite. She knew that she is a bloodline descendant of the children of Israel who were in slavery in Egypt and were brought out of captivity by Moses through the Spirit of the Lord. She knew that. They will never teach you this. They will never tell you this because, again, it doesn't benefit the white man to tell you the greatest figure of freeing slaves was an Israelite that knew she was an Israelite. The two single greatest figures in slavery, you understand, that revolted against the slave master were Israelites that knew they were Israelites. And you mean to tell me we wrong and we ain't got the truth and we following something wrong? Nigga, please. Name who did Marcus Garvey free with all that Pan-Africanism? Who did he free? Who did Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan and Farad Muhammad free with all that Islam? Who did the Christian church free with all that Christianity? None. Everybody looks at Harriet Tubman as the epitome of what it means to rebel against slavery. Harriet Tubman was an Israelite that knew she was an Israelite. I'm going to prove it to you right here. All right, let me add this to the stage. Before presenting the screen, remove other media streams. Oh, okay, let me remove this one. Yep. Yeah, read what you got.
Araminta Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Harriet Tubman was born Araminta Ross. The name Araminta is derived from the Hebrew name Aram, meaning lofty, or soaring, and minty is diminutive.
No sweat.
It is a diminutive form of her mother's name, Rit.
Right.
After her marriage, she changed her name to Harriet Tubman.
That's right. A lot of people don't know what Officer Shapat just brought out. Harriet Tubman's name, Araminta, comes from the Aram, the Hebrew. You understand? That's her. Brother, they knew. Again, the truth never went away. The Lord made it scarce. That's what the Lord did. He made it scarce so it wasn't widespread. So a lot of people didn't know about it. But brother, the Lord always kept the truth alive. And there were slaves that were taken from the west coast of Africa that knew we were not African. We are Hebrews, the children of Israel. These are our customs. This is our language. And brother, those slaves that came over here secretly kept those customs. That's how we have the truth today. It came from the South, from slaves that secretly kept the customs of our people. Go ahead, Shapat.
Sorry, mate. Just like fried chicken is in the Bible. That's what came over here on the slave ships, not fufu. We ain't bring no fufu recipe.
The water. That's how do you think fried chicken got over here? That was a new creation, brother. There were brothers and sisters who were intact with our culture. You think that was new? If we're African, how come to this day black people don't have a culture of eating egusi soup, peanut butter soup, fufu? If we're African, how come we don't have a culture of eating that? You know, we do have a culture of eating fried chicken.
That's right.
That's in the Bible. Because that's what we were doing in Africa, separate from Africans. We had the Bible to show us what we ate, how we lived. And the slaves, brother, brought that over here and maintained it through secrecy. The white man thinking this is a new creation. Oh, this is fried chicken. A lot of people don't know history. They be like, fried chicken was created because of slavery out of necessity. No, it wasn't, you imbecile. No, it wasn't. Fried chicken is an age-old recipe that was brought over here, and black people did what we always did. I just would imagine that we were frying a different bird. You understand? In Africa, we probably were frying pigeons or whatever was the popular clean bird there. Chicken was the popular bird here. You understand? Just like in Israel, we were frying turtle doves, which is a pigeon, form of pigeon. Right. So now let's play this video. Right. These are literal descendants of Harriet Tubman. You understand? All this has been verified. This is an old video from about 10 years ago. And these are the literal descendants of Harriet Tubman. This has been verified. Their lineage, they have the records, everything. These are, I forgot how many generations. I used to know it. I think they're about 5 or 6 generations from Harriet Tubman. These are her descendants right here. And again, the proof that they had this information shows you, brother, that we've always been the people that passed down our culture through word of mouth. We may not have been able to write things down, but we have always been a culture that have passed down our culture, our laws through word of mouth. Before Moses, that's how you knew the law. Before Moses, that's how we all knew the law. It was family oral tradition. You were taught the law based off of what your parents taught you verbally. Don't bring no black people do today. Don't bring no white woman in this house. If she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. Nigga, that's a law. That is before you knew interracial marriage was a sin. That is our family passing down the law, and you didn't even know it. Don't bring no white woman home. Nigga, that's how we got the law. That's how we've always had the law before Moses. And slavery, because they took away the written law in the Bible, we had to rely again back on oral tradition. Well, Harriet Tubman's descendants have the oral record from her family. Please, Shapot, play that.
Name. And so, brother and sister, what was Harriet Tubman's name before she changed her name to Harriet? And what significance does that have to us as Hebrews?
Her name was, before she changed her name after she ran away, her name was Araminta Ross, and Araminta is a Hebrew name. Her family knew that they were from the Ashanti tribe, and
which
is now part of Ghana, and that they.
She said her family knew that they were from the Ashanti tribe from Ghana. Anybody that knows history, what really are they saying? Because they're not knowledgeable of the history. What really, if you know the history, what are they saying? Let me see one of the troopers got it. Hold on, I know, or Waden Shapat. Let me see one of the troopers got it. They just said the family knew. Harriet Tubman knew that she was from the Ashanti tribe from Ghana. What really are they saying? Because of course the Ashanti are not Israelites. One of the troopers want to give it a shot. Let's no sweat. Let me get Shapat.
Their family was sold by the Ashanti tribe.
For water.
That was one of the main three that sold us into slavery.
For water. When they say they were part of the Ashanti tribe, that's right, Barack Obama. The Ashanti sold them. I did a class on this back when that movie, The Woman King, came out. I did a class on this and I broke this down. The Ashanti were the second biggest, I think, no, they probably did the largest. The Dahomey, which is who the tribe, the Woman King, is based off of. The Dahomey, the Ashanti, and there's another one. I can't remember if it was the Igbo. I got to double check. You're probably right.
It's another one too. It's got a longer name.
Yeah.
Those are the main three.
I know off the top of my head for certain, the Ashanti and the Dahomey were two of the largest African tribes that rounded us up. So when they say she knew her family was from the Ashanti tribe from Ghana, they don't have the truth, so they don't have the understanding of they were captured by the Ashanti because they lived in that land where the Ashanti were. That's how the Ashanti were the ones to capture them, because those were the closest Africans in proximity to us as Israelites. The Ashanti rounded up the Israelites that were in Ghana. And of course, as time go on, certain things can get skewed. And so now they believe, erroneously, that Harriet Tubman is from the Ashanti when Africans are not Israelites. The Ashanti sold us. You understand? It was she said the Yoruba. I think it was Yoruba. It's one of them, y'all. Y'all, I can't confirm. The only two I can confirm are the Dahomey, which was Benin, modern day Benin and Togo, and the Ashanti. Those I can confirm. Y'all probably right. The Yoruba, the Igbo, you understand, the Mandinka, with all that good stuff. Go ahead, Shapat.
This is my last class.
Mm-hmm.
The Ashanti, she was right. The Dahomey, the Yoruba, and the what I was saying, the Mbangala.
Okay.
Mbangala.
Okay. I'll take your word for it in your notes. You understand?
Go ahead, please. You also had another one out of Nigeria. It's the Hausas. All of those people are the same, but they all sold us.
That's the one at the water. That's the one I remember, the Hausa, which is like all I just said. They're all the same when you go into that area, but they are different tribes. But the Hausa, you understand? Those are three main tribes in Nigeria still to this day: the Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. The Hausa, brother, were cruel to us. You accepted them stinging Nigerians, brother. The Yoruba, the Igbo, the Hausa, those were all slave catchers. But the biggest ones were the Dahomey and Ashanti. You understand? And like she just said, those are the people that captured Harriet Tubman's family. You understand? The Israelites that were in that land. All right, let's keep playing it.
Hebrew. They did have Hebrew names before they were in slavery.
And so, brother and sister, what was Harriet Tubman's name before she changed her name to Harriet? And what significance does that have to us as Hebrews?
Her name was, before she changed her name after she ran away, her name was Araminta Ross, and Araminta is a Hebrew name. Her family knew that they were from the Ashanti tribe, and which is now part of Ghana, and that they were Hebrew. They did have Hebrew names before they were in slavery.
And so, right there. And so, brother.
And again, to prove the point, if they from the Ashanti tribe, how come they didn't have Ashanti names? Again, you got to use context clues to understand what you're hearing. Again, it's not their fault. These are her bloodline descendants, but again, they just going off of what was told to them. So they don't have the truth. You don't have the history. You don't know. If Harriet Tubman was Ashanti, she would have an Ashanti name. But clearly, they just specified she had a Hebrew name. You understand? Because we were living in the land of the Ashanti, and that's who was in close proximity to us. That's why they're the ones that rounded us up. We are not Ashanti. We are not African. And that's why Harriet Tubman didn't have an African name. She had a Hebrew name because Hebrews are different than Africans. Go ahead, priest.
Did the movie Shaka Zulu have to do with the Africans rounding us up? Because I remember specifically he was always talking to white men. And, he designed his way, and he was always attacking other tribes, you know what I'm saying? But of course, they made it look like they were African tribes. But did Shaka Zulu have anything to do with what we're talking about right now, them rounding us up?
Let me check. Where was he at? Was he in South Africa?
I don't know where he
was. That was South Africa.
Yeah, I don't think I think that was them warring against each other. Again, there was so much infighting, and still to this day, the Hutus and the Tutsis in Rwanda, Africans forever have been against each other. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, priest.
They got Zulus walking around in Johannesburg.
Right.
In the slums.
To this day.
In the slums.
You're right, in the slums, right. You understand? So I doubt it. You understand? I'll have to get more knowledge on that, if that's the case. But from my knowledge of South Africa and the history, that's most likely two warring tribes, which the Africans did so much. And that's why when people talk about us being sold, people always say you sold your own people. It's because Africa for a long time has had a reputation of the tribes warring. And so they think that us being sold into slavery was just part of you African niggas always warring and selling each other because they've been doing that. That's not what that was. No African went into the transatlantic slave trade. Africans didn't sell Africans into slavery. Africans sold Hebrews, Harriet Tubman's family, Nat Turner's family into slavery. You understand? That's what they did. You understand? Go ahead. Somebody say something? Right. So now, when you talk about black,
go
ahead, preach.
It sickens me when our people sit up there and think that they really got some type of attachment to West Africans, because our hair texture, I don't care how light or dark we are, our hair texture ain't the same as theirs. You know what I'm saying? Right. Our skin ain't the same as theirs. Whatever complexion that we come up, you know what I'm saying, we come out to be. Our eye shape, our skull structure is not the same. But our people insist on believing that they people had to be from there. You know what I'm saying? When they parents on both sides never uttered out their mouth, oh, you got African ancestors, right? So why can't you get in touch with your aunt, your cousin, your grandmother, any heathen over there? Why can't you get in touch with them if they're your peoples like that? Salaki, I yield.
Yeah, brother. Again, we force ourselves to believe these things, and there's no backing for it at all. There's no backing for it. Again, there's so many different things you can prove we're not Africans. We're not. Harriet Tubman wasn't an African because Hebrews that were brought here in slave people, the black people that were brought here in slavery in America were not African. They were Hebrews. And again, that's proof of that's the slave trade is the slave trade of God's people. Somebody give me Jeremiah 6:16 and we'd out of here. Jeremiah 6:16. You understand? Here, it's so-called Black History Month. You would be absolutely remiss if you try to talk about Black history and you don't talk about the Bible. The Bible is Black history. It is the utmost of Black history. You understand? You leave it to the white man, he gonna tell you our history starts in slavery. You understand? When brother Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman found out that we have a rich history, a rich culture, a superior righteous culture as being the children of Israel. And you cannot talk about Black history and freedom and Black liberation and Black power without talking about the Black book, the Bible, the book of the nigga God, the Black God. Please, somebody read what you got.
This is Jeremiah chapter 16, chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths.
And ask for what?
For the old paths.
For the new way.
For the old paths.
The Lord said, stand ye in the way, meaning stand in the streets, in the gaps, stand in the places where our people lack protection. When you hear the term stand in the gap or stand in the way, it means just imagine you at war and y'all got a formation, a line, and somebody get killed in that formation, he fall down. If you've been to Hebrew Academy, you already know what that means. Or what do you do when there's a hole in the formation?
You fill in, sir.
Right. You
cover down.
Cover down the water. You understand? You cover down. That's standing, you closing the gap, meaning you are solidifying protection. This is how you make the protection whole. The only way you can protect God's people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, is to look to the old paths. The only way to free God's people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, is to look to the old paths. You Christians, you Muslims, you Pan-Africans, you New Age spiritualists, whatever the hell nonsense you into, you don't have the answers. And you're going to come and go like you all have done because you're not looking to the old path. You're trying to create something new. You're trying to reinvent the wheel when, nigga, the wheel spins just fine. You know, we don't need a new version of the wheel. The wheel works. It works just fine. Look to the old paths. That's what Harriet Tubman did. Harriet Tubman didn't look to what the slave master gave her. She didn't look to white Jesus. She didn't look to Christianity. She went into that Bible, the book of old, the book of antiquity. And she read about those prophets of old, the children of Israel, and the history of who we are. Shalom, Captain Kathar. Nat Turner didn't look for a new path. He looked to the paths of old. That's what he did. He picked up that Bible and realized we are the children of Israel in slavery here in America. And we have to now realize that the new path, Christianity, Islam, Pan-Africanism, FBA, NBA, FBI, ICE, ICE, all that garbage is not the answer. You understand? It's not the answer. Look to the old paths. Keep reading.
Where is the good way, and walk therein?
Where is the good way, and walk therein? The old path is the good path. I hear Christians say all the time, the Bible doesn't apply to today. Well, that was then. That was then. This is now. See, it gotta evolve. You gotta evolve and update it. You're gay. You're gay. That means that what you're telling me is if society fully turns gay, you would be gay because we gotta evolve. We gotta keep up with the times. No, we don't. No, we don't. The answer is the old path. And his was so poetic. The old path is the new path. You understand? That's why the Lord said, what? Precept. You're not going to get it. I was going to get somebody, cash up somebody some bread, they can get it. He said, hold on. Somebody said, hold on. I need some gas money. We're gonna do it real quick. The old path is the new path. Precept. I'm gonna give you one shot. That's it.
The book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
That's a good one. That's not what not the one I'm looking for. That's a good one.
You have the money.
Hold on. No one Yahanna said, remember the days of old. No one Yahanna got it. Deuteronomy 32:7. You understand? Remember the days of old. Y'all trying to make something new and create something when the new thing is the old thing. Well done, the one y'all. Remember the days of old. That's what the Lord told us to do. Deuteronomy 32:7. You ain't got to get it for right now. Yeah, let's get it real quick. It's like this is the last one. We go. Just go ahead, priest.
That literally bleeds into today, just even on some worldly type stuff, you know.
Yeah.
What was old is coming back as the new. Like they say, like a 20-year cycle, you know, recycling or something like that.
That's right. That's how the Lord works. You understand? Nothing is new in the earth. Everything is old. It's brought back into the earth. You understand? It's the thing that you think is new is old. You understand? The old path, brother, it's the right way. You understand? Please, somebody read that. Deuteronomy 32:7.
This is Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will shew thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee.
The water. That's what you need right here. You understand? Consider the years of many generations, brother. That's why the white man, if you notice, he has made it a point to turn the young to separate the generations. That's why he has cut us off from us looking up to the older generation. And really, you could blame the crack epidemic for really putting the nail in the coffin with that. Because what the crack epidemic did was it completely destroyed an entire generation. And so beforehand, it made sense to look up to the elders. Now, you got 14-year-olds selling crack to the elders. As a 14-year-old, I have power over you because you need what I'm selling you. Why do I have to listen to you? The crack era is where you really get to see now the Black community alter in our structure of how we treat our elders. And the white man did that on purpose. Because prior to that, brother, we would take information from the old generation. That's what we would do. That's always been our culture. You would listen to your grandfather's stories. You would listen to your uncle's stories and your grandmother's stories and your auntie's stories. You would take pride in listening to the older generation. Now, brother, a lot of you can't stand the older generation, even in your own family. A lot of you can't bear to sit and listen to them old people talk. You understand? I used to be like that too. An old nigga couldn't tell me nothing. You understand? Nigga, you failed. That's all I knew. You failed, so you can't tell me nothing. The white man did that on purpose because he knows even in them failing, there's information that you need to have from the old generation. Even if it's just their experience of failing, it's good to have it. You understand? What would it hurt you to have data? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it going to hurt you to have the data? Like, we should be talking and bridging the gap between the young and old. And the white man on purpose has created a divide between the young and old because the Lord knows that's how you get information. That's how you stay on the old path or go back to the old path. You listen to the people of old. You understand? You listen to how they did things and or how things were. And then you take that and you say, well, listen, y'all did this wrong because y'all was Christian, but we're gonna do that and we're gonna do this now following the God of the Bible. Like that's the whole point. You understand? That's why I says ask your father and he'll show you, your elders, and they'll tell you. You understand? Look to the old path. Don't forsake the older generation because of their shortcomings and their failures. They did the best they could with what they knew. They failed though. Don't be scared to say that. I say that all the time. A lot of you older generation, you like to put all the problems on the young. Y'all failed. You absolutely failed. Now, because I had the truth, I have the grace to say you did the best you could with what you knew. And it's time for us now to join together so that we can go back to the old path. Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman, they were able to do what they did because of turning back to the old path. The one y'all said, General Mayak said, this is at least 3 years ago. Why would I learn from my mistakes when I could learn from your mistakes? Give that a hand. Give that a hand, brother. That's what it's all about. That's what a wise man would do. Please, brother, I used to hang out with crackheads, homeless people. I used to hang out with them and sit and listen to them and go buy 2 beers. Y'all think I'm lying. I'm serious. I should do this. I should take the Greyhound up to New York and walk around New York City by myself like it was my city, walking around Patterson, New Jersey, all in the Bronx. You understand? All in Chicago, all down in Virginia, Norfolk. Brother, I would talk to homeless people and drug addicts because there's something I can learn from this. You understand? There's something I don't have to get to where you are. I don't want to get to where you are. You understand? To learn the lesson that I should learn. And you could learn from that. You understand? With that, everybody that made it to the end, type of fire emoji in the chat. It's a block you for holding y'all over. You understand? You wanted to get more information. We have more, but for the time's sake, we're gonna cut it right there. Go ahead, RY. You want to say something?
Yeah, come on, slug it, sir.
Yep.
What you were saying just now with that, I would say that's like verbal technology right there. You know?
Yeah.
Because you have to go on the old, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't know nobody today. Maybe Esau, you know, how can you just, okay, we're gonna create something new and then we're gonna just ride from this, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nah, you can't get new without something behind that, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Yeah, it just doesn't exist, you know.
Brother, what you said is
verbal technology, sir.
That's right. What you said is bringing it home. That's practical knowledge. That's why we the school of practical knowledge, because you have to build off of something. You understand? Let's see who we got up in here. Let's get up out of here. We got I see you, Yapaya, Kapa, Simba, Barack Wana, Landlord and Fisherman, Nadaba, Maria, Princess Asa, Adi Yana, Shalat, Naimia, Leonard Jr., Black Mike, Chavez, Kaya Bath, Trooper Shakat, Mario, 50 Shades, Young Man Matthew, Kayata Wan, Wadia, Lisa John, Fiery Furnace. You understand? Make sure y'all like and share the stream. Everybody hit that thumbs up, share the stream. I'll probably do a video going into this too, a short form of this, or brothers do clips. You understand? You clip this video up. People need to know that Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman were Israelites. People need to know that. They try to discredit us like we niggas on the fringe that's schizophrenic and bugged out. When nigga, this is the old path. This is the old path. Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman, and I'm pretty sure if we learned about them other slave revolts and talked to them brothers that was inspired to do it, you'll find out them brothers read the Bible too. You understand? Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman were Israelites, and they knew they were Israelites. You want to be revolutionary, you understand? You want to be radical. You want to be full of zeal. And for the liberation of your people, you have to look to the old way. What's the old way? Being an Israelite. You understand? With that, we'll pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shapat Dayak. You come up here, Priest.
Okay, security announcements. We at I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yahanna. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 13. Have I been reading that wrong the whole time? Verse 13, verse 21. And the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'asher. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give it to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, Purim, 14th day and 15th day of the 12th month, Monday the 2nd of March and Tuesday the 3rd of March, 2026. You'll find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. Also, we got the Lord's 57th annual Passover in Houston, Texas, April the 4th, Saturday, April the 4th. We got a week-long worth of events from April the 1st all the way to the 5th, which is the Feast of Unleavened Bread on Sunday. Make sure you pay your Passover fees, $200 for every adult, 17 years of age. Everybody is 17 years of age and up. That's $200 for your Passover fee. Make sure you book your hotels, get the traveling arrangements together. If you're having trouble with any of that, make sure you contact your camp leader in your city. Believe that's it for that.
Hold up, Salakia.
Concert.
Y'all remember after the Passover, when it's evening, it rides right into the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is mandatory. It is mandatory. It's connected. So make sure you stay for that Sunday. Salakia.
That's right. Well, it's about the water 2 hour away. That's correct. You understand? If you're able to make your travel arrangements for Saturday and Sunday, if you definitely able to do what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be down there the whole week. Tuesday to Tuesday. No, sorry, I'm lying. Tuesday to Monday. You understand? So if you do what you can, man. Like this could be our last Passover. Christ could come back at the Passover. You understand? You just never know. You understand? So make use of us coming together. And if you haven't been to a Passover, come meet your brothers and sisters. Now is the time to lock yourself in and join in with your brothers and sisters. I'm trying to tell you, don't wait, because the door might get closed real soon. Go ahead, priest.
Ryan Akiman Akwati, and check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on. I.S.U.P.K. events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headband, and scarf. And with that, I say I might be, which means to stand. Courtesy salute to the teacher.
Hey, the water to Priest and Officer Shapat, Priest and Officer Arawadia, Trooper Lawayathan, Trooper Ragash for tuning in. You understand? We out of here, y'all. Shalom, Israel.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Water.